And instead of saying all of your goodbyes, let them know you realize life goes fast. It's hard to make the good things last. You realize the sun don't go down. It's just an illusion caused by the world spinning around. Do you realize that you have the most beautiful face? Do you realize?
Come in. The show is about to begin. We are live. I'm just waiting for people to come in from CandyBoyDrums. We are live tonight with Rain of Kindo, their drummer, and we are going live here on YenYorkCity Live.
Hello. How are you? Can you hear me?
Hey guys, let me just. So you guys, those beautiful songs are from Rain of Kindo, and tonight we have CandyBoyDrums on the podcast. So it's gonna be really awesome. Original band with amazing albums. I mean, it's gonna be great. We're gonna have fun tonight. It's not from the norm, Mondays. We have Sunday podcasts here once in a while. So today, it's a special treat, and he's a New Yorker. He's from New York City, like me. So it's pretty awesome. We get to actually have a New Yorker. We've had people from Australia, from London, from California, from Brazil, Argentina. I mean, it's been an awesome 2020 when it comes to streaming. And yeah, a lot of live concerts are not, happening as often now. But, this is the second best thing, is these awesome live shows. Live drumming with CandyBoyDrums. His community is really awesome. I hope you guys are coming in and have some questions for your boy, Kendrell. So, are you ready for me, CandyBoyDrums? I know you've been waiting.
Yes. Hello. How are you?
I'm great. And of course, my co-host, Luna Satori, will be with us too, also a drummer. So it's kind of cool. We got both, sides of the spectrum. I'll be asking him questions, and they'll be nerding out on drums and equipment and stuff. So let's do it. It's YenYorkCity Live here on Twitch. And there he goes. What's up?
Hello.
And there goes
Hello.
Luna Satori. And of course, you guys, if you're not familiar with CandyBoyDrums, there he goes. And yeah, I mean, thank you so much for giving us this time, because I know you're doing a lot of projects, and you guys just released a new single, right? A new album, and you're working on new stuff too.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me, first of all. Thanks for reaching out. And yeah, we just dropped a new single, I think 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I don't know. Time goes by so fast now. I don't even remember. But
We're in
it's called
December already. I can't believe we're in December.
I know. And Christmas is around the corner.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's song's called Stolen Treasure. And before that, we dropped another one called Better Off Together, which
I
is
love
the
that
first
one.
song. That's a fun one. That's the first song that we released with me on the drums. So pretty proud of that one in particular. And yeah, it's been a wild ride the last 2 years. I feel like it's just been a whirlwind. Man, it's almost 3 years at this point. Yeah, it's almost been 3 years. So
yeah, so I gotta ask you, you said 3 years, so you've been with the band, am I saying it right? Rain of Kindo?
Kindo, yes.
Kindo,
Kindo. You got
Yes.
it. The Reign of Kindo.
Yeah, and so they're pretty successful band. They've had quite a couple of albums, and they're beautiful. I love their music. Every album has kind of its own little flavor, its little fusion in there. What would you describe that kind of genre?
That's funny. I get that question a lot, and I always just kind of say yes. I don't really have an answer for
Yes.
Kind of genre, yes.
like what kind of music it is. It just kind of is a broad spectrum of everything. It's an amalgamation of just eclectic music. There's Latin influences,
Love it.
so Latin, rock and jazz and just pop, and because everybody in the band has influences from every artist, and they the cool thing with writing with this band for the past couple of years, when we get together, it's just sort of, okay, whatever kind of comes out is kind of like we kind of throw it to the wall and see what sticks, And we've written a couple of the songs in a couple different ways, and I'd never written. Normally I've written songs. It's like, here's a groove, okay, or a bass player starts playing something, and you just start jamming. We've definitely written songs like that, but the first couple songs that we wrote, which haven't been released yet, are Joey, our singer, came in and basically had these stanzas of just lyrics, right? They're just lines of words, and he just started saying them, and then we just started playing over the lyrics, and it was pretty fascinating to write that way, and we'll go and do these little writing retreats, for like 4 or 5 days, and we'll just, seclude ourselves and just see what happens. So it's kind of fun.
So how did you meet them and become their drummer in the first place? Because they had a different drummer, and you said it's been 3 years almost since you've been in this band. So
yeah.
How's that? Like, how did you guys link up?
So it's kind of a long story. I'll give the relatively abridged version.
Okay.
But basically, when I came back from college, I started reaching out to people on Craigslist. This was around 2012. This goes way back.
Before it got too dangerous to do things like that?
Oh, yeah. Yes, the gay old times.
Yeah,
and I ended up meeting a guitar player who worked with the bass player at Guitar Center, believe it or not.
Oh, Guitar Center.
Yeah, believe it or not. The bass player from Jeff Jarvis on the bass worked at Guitar Center.
It's like Luna. Luna worked in Guitar Center, too. He has a history.
Yeah. Did you love it?
It was a summer job, so I only had a good experience then, and then I was like, not coming back.
Smart. But
it's good. It's good.
So,
you get to go back and be like, hey, and get like stuff, Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
So he asked me to. I was playing with this guitar player, and he asked me to make a trio with him, and we did. So I was playing with Jeff, the bass player, in a project called the John Bob Trio, and that kind of fizzled out. We went our separate ways, and those two kept going. Johnny ended up being in the reign of Kindo, and we kind of had a falling out, and I didn't really talk to them for a few years, and then out of nowhere, Jeff asked me to play with this country artist who was coming up from Nashville in New York City, and we were playing some gigs at the Red Lion down on Bleecker.
Yeah.
And I don't know, something in I just told me I needed to take this gig, so I took the gig, and Jeff was playing with her as well, and we kind of rekindled our friendship, and I was giving him some rhythm lessons and over Skype, and just trying to talk shop and just whatever for funs, and he had a pensive and stressful look on his face, and I was like, what's up? And he basically says to me, oh, nothing, we're having drummer doesn't want to tour anymore, do you I quote, do you know of anybody who'd be interested? And I just looked at him like, bro, I'm right here. I just gave him the dead stare. And he's like, oh, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah. So they
I'm right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks so much for the resub, Eric.
So he gave me 5 songs to learn for the audition, and the rest is history. We did a tour in January of 2019. It was just like a little house tour, and we went to literally people's houses and basements. It was very intimate. We brought our own PA. It was very totally DIY. It was ticketed. It was really cool, but definitely stressful at the same time, because these songs are not easy, and then you have the fans that are just die-hard fans. Kindo fans are the most passionate
I've
fans
noticed.
ever. They're so passionate. They love the music. They know every little nook and cranny just as well as I do at this point, you know? So.
Oh, thanks for the follow. So when did you discover Twitch? Like, what made you think? Because I know this year's been crazy for bands and touring bands like yourself, you know? When did you say, okay, like, maybe I should go into streaming? When did you hit that live button? And how did you hear about Twitch in the first place?
Well, I heard about Twitch years and years and years ago because I'm a big gamer. I've following the League of Legends esports series since like season 3, really.
You were on WoW earlier too.
Yeah, I play WoW, but I didn't really watch WoW on Twitch. But League of Legends is really. I remember staying up really late watching like some big streamers on Twitch, just learning how to like copy them and try to get better at the game and stuff like that. So that was my first like real introduction with Twitch. But I've always wanted to stream. I've always felt like I could do this. Like it's just like something I feel very natural doing. And you know, what made me pull the trigger was obviously, you know, the whole COVID thing. And I just said, I want to do this. I'm going to do it. I saw some other drummers doing it that I know personally. And I was like, okay, if you can do it, I'm going to do it too. And, you know.
Why the hell not?
Why not? So I guess I started in July, and it took me a while to build up the setup. It took me a lot. It cost a lot of money, but I said to myself, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right, and I'm not going to, like, pussyfoot around. You know, I can't half-ass anything. That's not who I am as a person. So if
so there's microphones part of the investment?
Oh, absolutely.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Those microphones are top quality, and I did a lot of research. I talked to all my dad's friends. My dad's a retired audio engineer who used to work for MTV, and so he's got a lot of friends in the biz, as they say. And I went and talked to the sound guy of Sesame Street.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh. So the head sound guy is Sesame Street, and he let me borrow a bunch of microphones. He told me all the pickup patterns. He knew the guys who work at Earthworks and stuff. So he was like,
wow,
those are great mics. If you're going to do it, get those. And I'm like, okay. So I did it.
I love that.
Yeah, I heard they pick up like the most purest of sound.
It's so pure. It's so clean. I'm like, wow, that's what my drums sound like, you know?
Yeah. And I'm trying to think, like, did you buy it as a set or with like individuals or?
Yeah, no, I bought I think it's called the DK7, the set. So it came with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, 7. I'm not using the kick drum mic. That's my only knock on it, is the kick drum mic. I see a lot of people using that. I wasn't a fan. I like it's a real small diaphragm, like, you know, condenser mic, when it's like you're trying to put all this air into like this little tiny, basically pen shape. I'm like, nah. So
it's more like pinpoint, like on the beater type of mic, if anything.
Yeah, if anything, exactly. And I couldn't get the sound. I couldn't dial it in. So
what did you get for your bass drum?
I ended up just getting an Audix D6.
That's what I use.
I love it. It was so great. And I have a 57 on the snare. That's it. So
nice.
Just because it's classic, and I like the sound, you know.
So how long did it take you to get everything you need before you started streaming?
I'd say like 2 or 3 months. So COVID happened around March. So March, April, May, June. I think I started it in like May, and then I just had to do so much research. You know, I don't like I have a problem with being impulsive and just pulling the trigger and saying, fuck it, like, let's just do it. And I get myself into trouble that way. And I was like, if I'm going to do this, like I said, I'm going to do it right. I'm not going to, you know, I just can't. I can't invest this much. And that's why I didn't go for, like, cheaper mics. Like, I have some Sennheisers, I think 604s or whatever. They're great mics, you know. They're at every gig that you go to. They throw those on your toms, you know. I have those. I was just like, you know.
Yeah.
So I looked up the interface, what kind of computer. I have a DSLR camera. You know, I got key lights, ring lights, and, you know, I built storage so I could, clean this whole place up. And
At least now you can actually do some home recordings with this whole setup, so you got a win-win there.
I'm glad you brought that up. So I've been doing a lot of remote recordings actually for my band. We have what's called a Patreon, and people subscribe, once a month, or sorry, they subscribe for a monthly fee or whatever. It's little as $1, I think it is, and you get part of like access to the community. And we've been recording these videos and songs for them, and kind of putting together these quarantine video. We've been calling them.
That's so cool. You got to get creative.
Yeah. We have been. So we've done like the Beatles Taxman cover, and we all dressed up in suits, even though we probably should have been more like hippie-ish, but because that's time period. But anyway, it is what it is. And we've done some other things too. But I've also been doing remote recordings for other people, specifically a guy in Indiana, a good friend of mine now, Ryan, and we're recording some like djenty, heavy, progressive stuff. Yeah. I'm kind of into that stuff.
Yeah, it's big now.
That's always fun.
Yeah,
it's super big.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So we nerd out. We've been nerding out on the new Pliny album. We've just been like, oh my God, you hear this part? Oh my God, yeah. So.
Yeah, Pliny's nuts.
The new album is disgustingly good. I'm floored.
I haven't got to hear the new stuff yet, but
dude,
some of the older stuff, I'm like, oh man.
You're going to die. This is Chris.
You're going to die.
Yeah. This is Chris Allison's coming out party. Like, I liked his stuff on Sunhead, but on this album in particular, I've met Chris, and I've actually taken a lesson with him, and he's such a nice guy. But like, I'm just floored by his drumming, Huge influence of mine currently.
So what is your dream kit then? What do you have going on? What does your baby look like? And what are the key pieces to your masterpiece kit you have?
We're pretty close, actually, to what I would say I'm basically done. So this is a Star Classic Birch Babinga Tiger Wood wrapped Tama.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah. It's not my favorite color. It's green. But they don't make them anymore. So I was like, all right. And my guy in Middletown, New York, he gave me a great deal on it. So, and then I play all Zildjian cymbals, which I also get a great deal for where I work. I get like amazing prices, which is, I can't complain. I love Zildjian, and that's not to knock any of the other cymbal companies. I think they're all great. I think all the drum companies that are out there, they're all great these days. They all make great high-end stuff. You can't go wrong. There's no, I don't know. It's just kind of what you prefer at that point. It's going to sound good if you spend X amount of dollars, Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah, I would say Dream Kit, I'm pretty close. I don't think I would change too much with what I have. 2 floors over here, 2 racks.
You don't want that.
Yeah, don't want that. That'd be awkward. I just picked up this, what does this say? Imperial Star 1985 Tama King Beat, I think it is. Yeah. And it was in great condition. And funny enough, I'll tell the story. Where I work at a school, and I teach there, and somebody just dropped off a drum kit. Sometimes this happens. And there is the Tama Imperial Star 1984 or 5-inch version of this snare. So it's literally the same thing but just smaller. And I was like, I'm taking that. That's mine. Thank you. And I cleaned it up, and it sounds amazing. So, I like vintage stuff, but I also like new stuff too. So
a lot of it gets donated into the
yeah,
schools or...
yeah, exactly. So they'll donate cymbals and stuff because we're always going through gear. The kids hit it constantly, and it doesn't get taken care of that well. Not like our own stuff.
How often do you break your cymbals?
Oh, not lately. This one is the exception to the rule. Not often. So I try to hit with a glancing blow.
Yeah.
And be very loose. I can't. If you hit dead on, like you're asking.
You're asking for it.
Yeah, you're asking for it. That took me a while to learn, though. That's not easy. That's technique.
Yeah, it does require some muscle memory because if you're used to going down on it versus across.
Yep.
Like swipes.
Yep. I noticed that when I was specifically this cymbal, I would hit it. Like I'd learned just how to hit it that way. This cymbal, well, not in this one particular, but I've had a lot of crashes that sit there, and I'll crack that one more than anything. Is that one because I'm hitting
with the most used?
Yeah, because I'm always hitting it dead on. So
Yeah.
that's the only cymbal I've noticed of cracked. This trash warmer, I don't really care that I cracked. It's like $40. Like whatever, it's fine.
It just adds texture.
Yeah, exactly. Sounds great. It's super cool.
Do you have like
love all
a
those,
cymbal
like,
graveyard?
I do. Oh yeah, I do have a cymbal graveyard. They're in cymbal bags, fortunately, but I'm planning to take it to the metalsmith and melt that stuff down. You know.
I'm still debating on like what to do with mine. Like I have a whole stack full of them. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
you'll
don't
get
know what
money.
to use.
You'll get some money. You will. That's pure brass, or well, brass and bronze, whatever it is. 80-20 usually.
Hey, you should.
Yeah.
You should do something. There's this guy in Jersey that he melts them and then you give it to him and he makes a different custom symbol from it.
Oh wow, that's cool. That'd be real cool.
Yeah, I think that's
Whatever
cool.
that would sound
He
like.
has his own like symbol lines. I think his he goes by Nicky Moon symbols. He's like up in North Jersey somewhere, like closer to New York. So
Okay.
I've been meaning to drop him off and then hopefully get something like made up or mocked up as a custom symbol.
Right?
That'd be cool, actually.
That's awesome.
I would check that out.
Pancakes thinks is a good idea. What's up, guys?
Yeah,
in
I'll send you a
chat?
link. So maybe it'd be something that you'd be interested in checking out too.
Yeah, definitely. Send me the link. I'm definitely interested in that.
I'm telling you, that's the way to go. I mean, they're just sitting there, right?
Yeah.
So might as well do
Yeah, they are.
something. Make something custom out
They're
of
just
it.
taking up space. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely.
So, Kindle, I gotta ask you, how did you even start with being on the drums? Like, how did you fall in love with being a drummer? And when did you know I want to be a drummer?
Ha. Well, that's a very deep question, but I'll always deep and thoughtful, right? So I was fortunate enough to have a very artistic family. I come from a mother who's an artist, a painter. When I was born, she gave up her job in television to create jewelry. Literally, she was a metalsmith and still is to this day. She teaches it at a high school, but she still
That's
does
beautiful.
that. So, yeah, so there's art, you know, all over the house, and it's just a very artistic place. I would say to grow up. And my dad was always been a music lover, and he, you know, was a hobbyist. That's why there's the guitars there and stuff. I don't play guitar. I don't play any other instrument, but you know, those are my dad's, and he plays. You know, he plays. Okay, not so much anymore, but he used to play, and we used to play together. You know, so one day he had like a garage band. I think. I can't remember what. They were called. I think they were called Men in the Basement, because that's what they would do. My dad's friends, all his TV friends, would come over and they would jam. And
Oh,
one
that's
day,
awesome.
one day, the guy Brian, the drummer, just left the drum set there and was like, "This is yours." So he gave it to me.
That's awesome of him.
Yeah, and I just was like, "Yeah, cool. Let me try it." And my dad put me in lessons like right after that, and my dad was. I took one lesson, and the guy comes out of the room. I remember the teacher's name, Jay, and he goes, "Get this kid a drum set." Like that's. I remember him saying that. I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, I didn't know. I had no idea. Like whatever. I'm a 9-year-old kid. I was 9. I should
Oh,
say.
yeah,
I was
you
9.
were 9. You were 9, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
you was babies. You was a young boy.
I was young. It feels like forever ago. But believe it or not, I actually fell out of love with the drums. I loved it playing with my dad and like writing stupid songs like about our dog and like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like whatever. Honestly, it helped me, it shaped me to become in tune, that sort of listening skill very early on. But as I got through high school, I kind of shunned everything artistic away. I was actually just talking to my girlfriend about this, how I just all the arts, which everything I really enjoy doing and love doing. I love doing, like, I don't want to say plays and stuff like that, but being on stage is like just something I really, really enjoy doing. And I just pushed it all away. I didn't want anything to do with it. I was really good in chorus and all that stuff, and I don't know. I was just like, nope, I don't want it. I want to just play video games. Like that's all I wanted to do. And you know, many, many years of therapy later, my therapist finally says, "Bro," I'm quoting, not quoting, I'm paraphrasing.
Bro, like your therapist
He
was
didn't
like, "Hey,
actually
bro."
say bro. He didn't say bro. Mark, he says that's what his name.
That's
He
the
goes,
coolest therapist.
I
he's
know,
like,
right?
bro.
He's on bro and bro basis.
We're bros. I would definitely call him my bro. He says to me, he goes, you're an artist. Like, and this is after I tried to go to like regular college. I went to for computer science because I was like, oh, I like computers, but not like I don't like to code. I don't get it. I just want to play video games.
Oh.
I hated it. Oh my god, I left like after a month, and then like I said, therapy later. Then I was like, okay, I'm about 20. Yeah, I'm about 20 years old, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna go to school for drums. So I looked into schools. I looked into Berkeley. I looked into actually I only looked into Berkeley and I looked into Musicians Institute. Those are the only two I looked into. I know there's so many other great schools out there, but I chose Musicians Institute. I flew out there with my dad for like
Nice.
a open house or whatever, and we stayed for like a weekend or like a couple days, whatever. Walked the halls, saw the atmosphere, and I was just like, this is it. And I went there, and it was an amazing experience. If I was to recommend any school to go to, Musicians Institute. I know people talk shit about it, but like it's not that expensive in comparison to Berkeley. Like Berkeley's like $250,000 if you're not getting scholarships. And I don't know. I have a lot of philosophical thoughts about how to navigate schooling and teaching and mentorship, things like that. That I've thought about a lot lately, just because I teach now, so I have to kind of steer these kids in a certain direction on what they want to do if they're serious about making this a profession. Now, what I can say from my experience, specifically with Musicians Institute, is they will, if you do the work, make you hireable, and that's the most important thing. You can make a living out of doing this, and that's the most important thing, because that's all I ever want, is to make this my job. I just want to come down and play these every single day, and I'm at that point in my life where I'm at that, I do that. So
I want to do that.
yeah, it's not easy. It's a lot of hard work and dedication.
Wow, but yeah, that's amazing. That's the freaking most kick-ass therapist I've ever heard.
He was an artist as well, so
Oh, there you go.
yeah,
There you go.
he understood. He understood.
He saw the signs. He was like, this guy's blinded. He needs some light.
That's funny
You're
because
absolutely right.
that happened to me. I went to school. I wanted to be a psychiatrist, and I wanted to help kids and children and stuff like that, and people with like mental
Sure.
problems and stuff. And then when I started getting into college and doing it, I was like, I don't know. I'm too sensitive. I get very attached into people's feelings, and I always loved music, and I kept going back to music. So sometimes, but I didn't have a therapist that said, hey, don't go for that. Keep going to college for what you're doing. And at the end, it's like, you have to go with your heart, and you have to go what really is your passion. So he saw that, and he steered you into the right direction. And then your father's drummer saw potential in you too. So you had some really awesome people there, like backing you up and telling you, and at a young age, 9 years old, and you started picking up the drums. So yeah, I love that. So yeah, you have your guitars over there, but you don't dabble with them or try to think like maybe I'll stream with a guitar one day. No. Drums, it's for you, right? You're a drummer.
Drums. I'm obsessed. I think about it all the time. I'm like, I'm watching. My Instagram is just drummers at this point, and like close friends. That's all I see. I'm absorbing music, like rhythm. Really, rhythm is what it is. I'm like addicted to rhythm.
I get it. I get it. I'm more into drummers than anything. If you look at my podcast, I have
We're the
more
best.
drummers than you guys are the best. Why do you and it's funny because it's the heart of the song, the beat, and I get it. I always vibe with drummers, and it tends to be like I see more drummers on Twitch than any other musicians or streamers. Awesome.
Well, it's exciting,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. This is my own opinion, and I could be 100% wrong, but I would find it way more exciting to see somebody wailing on the drums than somebody just strumming an acoustic guitar. But that's me. That's just me.
Yeah,
I'm
the
sure
energy.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
the
how
energy.
often do you have the opportunity to beat the shit on things?
Exactly. It's true. So.
I got
But
it.
yeah.
It's a lot of energy involved in that, and if we
Absolutely.
do put on like a show outside of, like, even though we're behind everything, like the guitars and everyone's all up front, but then like we're putting in the most movement, the most like energy within like all the things that we do, and we're sweating the most.
It's true. It's true. Fortunately, I'm not that sweaty. Which I'll play shows with Kindo, and then I'll finish, and that, like I look at my percussion player, and he's much taller than me. I think he's like 6'4". He's quite tall guy. I love that man. But he is drenched in sweat, absolutely drenched. And I just look at him. I'm like damp. That's like it. I'm damp. So
was he doing like aerobics back there?
He's doing jumping jacks. He's hitting the congas and the bongos as hard as he can. Like he's just going crazy.
Pelvic thrusting while hitting the cowbell.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it.
So that's a good
awesome.
way to go to the next question I wanted to ask you. So what are your top 5 favorite drummers that have inspired you as a drummer?
Okay, it's a good question. Let's see. So the first drummer that I was like really enamored with was, believe it or not, David Silveria from Korn. I was such a Korn geek. I loved that band. I was such a nu metal kid growing up.
Yeah. My brother was named the Korn kid in school because he always used to wear the T-shirts. So I know.
Yep.
And he was a drummer, but he didn't really stick to it like you did. But he loved him. That was his guy too.
I remember sitting in my kitchen as a kid, around 9, 10 years old, maybe a little older, putting on headphones with my little disc Walkman with my Korn album, just air drumming, just sitting there. I absolutely love that band.
Oh yeah, which is your favorite album of Korn album?
Oh, Follow the Leader by far.
Yeah, mine
by
too.
Far.
Issues and Follow the Leader, I think.
Issues is great too.
Yeah.
I think those first 4 albums, I'm just like, oh,
I know,
that's like so
right?
good.
Those 4, yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing. Then I would say Jose Pasilla from Incubus. I love him.
Oh.
That's a good one.
Solid.
That's solid.
I love him so much. And I think it actually took me a little bit longer to get into, obviously, because I think he's a step up from the type of drumming, like that's very much more intricate drumming and less pounding. A lot of, you listen to like Pardon Me or stuff like that, or it's so fast and intricate. It's like, as a kid, what would I say next? It's so hard because I take so many influences now. Top 5. I mean, I steal so much stuff from Matt Garska these days, obviously, just because from Animals as Leaders, just because he's the pinnacle of drumming, in my opinion. And then I would say maybe Danny Carey from Tool.
Yes, that's mine. That's like my second dude too. Yeah.
I love him so much. There's so many great drummers. And then my ultimate favorite drummer of all time, my number one, and will always be my number one, is Gavin Harrison from Porcupine Tree.
Oh yes, that was one of the last drummer we had. Same thing. That's what he said too. Wow.
Yeah. There's something about his drumming that's so. I mean, you could say this about every drummer, but to me, it was just. That was the band I was listening to the most as I was in college. So while I was getting better and learning all these chops and getting my chops, like work chops, I should say, not like chops, but like work chops, I was listening to him and absorbing what he would do and listening to interviews and how he would compose drum parts and, trying to fit little things in between the lyrics. And I always find myself doing that. In fact, one time I was recording with an artist, and it was proggy, kind of minus the bear-ish kind of. I don't know if you're familiar with that band, but the bass player who had never met me before yet, it was just like, oh, this drummer has a lot of sounds like Gavin Harrison a little bit, and I was just like,
that's the best compliment ever.
Thank you. Yeah,
mission accomplished.
Yeah, it's like goal done.
That's like you, babe. That's like you with Mike Portnoy.
With Mike Portnoy.
Yes,
I grew up listening to all Dream Theater stuff, and then I like my style was basically what Mike Portnoy is, and then every time I played, they were like, "Yeah, dude, you're like a splitting image of Mike Portnoy." And I'm like, "Yes," and then you hear it more often. You're like, "All right, I don't want to be that anymore."
Yeah,
you want to be yourself. Yeah.
That's the other thing I've with Kindo in particular. I've wanted to find my own sound, and it's more interesting joining a band that had a previous drummer. It might be a little bit easier, or maybe not. It depends on how you look at it. But these songs are already written, right? These older songs, they've already got great, phenomenal drum parts on them, and they're very complex, and they're very like people expect to hear it a certain way. Well, I think about that, and I'm just like, yes, and I always want to do the song justice, but I also want to put Kendall's flair on
Right.
that song, you know? And I try to do that as much. And as I've gotten more immersed with the band and more comfortable with the band, you know, when I first joined the band, it's like play it note for note exactly how he played it, you know, maybe a little bit of flair here and there, but nothing like of what I'm now. I'm just like, here's Kendall, here it is, you can have it, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, that's kind of something I've tried to think about a lot is how to sound like myself, like, or just how do I be me, you know?
That's the hard part too.
It is.
Like we're all influenced by a lot of people, and
Absolutely.
then like we're taking bits and pieces of everyone, but then at the same time it's like, okay, like how does one become more unique and think outside the box of what everyone else is already doing? And that's difficult with everyone having to play almost the same way, same thing. It's just your approach to things is what's going to define you as the drummer.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, you could talk to people about how they hit, and just how they hit the drums, or you can apply this to any sort of instrument. But you know, we'll take drums for instance. You know, people who like don't hit rim shots, you know, like I can't do that. Like I just can't do it. I've been hitting rim shots since I was 9 years old. Like I've always hit this way. I can't unless the song calls for something different. Like I can't, or I don't bury the beater. Like I know people who just, you know, always keep that beater on the head from the kick drum. I don't do that. I that's just something I do, you know. That's not to say that it's right or wrong. It's just what I do, you know.
Yeah, it's just how you're used to playing your the way you are, you know, the way you play.
Exactly. So those are the types of things and I feel like when you teach, you're so much more self-reflective because you're instilling what you know onto these kids, right?
Yeah.
So you're shaping their thoughts and their minds, and on some ways it's like how I approach the drums. I'm basically telling them this is what you should do. Don't do it this way, you know. So,
and that's the thing, like,
right, you know,
when I'm showcasing something or educating someone, it's like, this is what I do, but I want you to find your comfort zone. You know, like it's not always me that's right about doing everything, because it might not work for you. It might not work for anyone, really. It's just preference.
Sure.
This is how I do it. You can try it. If it doesn't work out, adjust. That makes it more comfortable for you in a sense.
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
So was that 3 drummers? Was it 3 or 4 that you said already?
That was all of them.
Oh, I think that was all of them.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
okay.
I think it was 5.
So it's 5. Okay, so so you're 9, right? And then you told me the whole thing. Then you go to school. Then you come out. So what was your first? Did you join a band right away? And what was, if you did, which eventually you did? How was your first gig experience? I want to know if it was like great. Like what was scary about it?
So, oh yeah, sure. So I did everything wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was at
Everything wrong.
school.
The only way to learn.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's what
I learned the hard way, very hard way. So
Listen,
instead
guys,
of taking advantage of all the opportunities that were in front of me while I was at the college in LA, which they have a great hiring hall. You could be in so many bands. Like you could just be so much more immersed than I was.
That's
I was
awesome.
really there just to focus on being the best drummer that I could be. Like that was what I wanted to do. And I was very nervous and afraid to kind of just meet people. There's other reasons there, mainly ex-girlfriend stuff being there at the same time, et cetera, et cetera. That kind of shelled me, you know, and I'm not going to blame her because, you know, it's my responsibility to say this is what I need to do. Anyway, so I didn't take advantage of that. So when I moved back home, I didn't have any sort of plan. I knew I wanted to do this, and I don't know. Okay, what am I going to do? How do I meet people? Well, what I did was I just started going on Craigslist. And that can be scary, trust me. And there's a lot of bad on Craigslist. But every once in a while, I would find somebody that would be like, hey, I'm starting a band. You want to join? And I'd be like, sure. So I join or just start playing around. And finally, I just kind of like word of mouth, this guitar player who worked at the same guitar center as Jeff from the Kindo and Johnny. I ended up in a band with him at one point. This referenced me or referred me to play with this other band, and it just sort of, it's been a slow evolving like a snowball. You know, it started at this point where I like started it all with a Craigslist ad, and now here. There's obviously a lot in between that. I also stopped gigging there for probably from 2016 till about 2018. I was barely doing any gigs. And I guess that I have a couple these interesting points of like, how do I call it? There's a word for it. I can't think of it. Manifest destiny, right? Where you know something, like you say it or you think
Putting
it
into
so
an
much.
existence. Yeah, the manifesting.
Exactly, and then it happens.
Yes.
And then you manifest it.
It's
so
true. It is. It's real. Manifesting is real.
I have two, maybe 3 points of my life, specifically with my career, where it's at now. These turning points, I'll call them, where I've thought about like doing this professionally. And, you know, all through that time, I was like 2012 to 2016, I had part-time jobs. Just, you know, working at GameStop, working at PetSmart, you know, just retail jobs while doing side gigs. Because it's hard. You can't, like, you know how it is. You get $50 a gig. It's absurd. Like, how are you supposed to live off this? It's stupid.
Yeah.
So anyway, the first moment was when I went to Europe with one of my ex-girlfriends, and we went, and while I was there, all I could think about was getting a gig. And I remember like laying in bed, and I turned to her and I said, when I get back, I'm gonna hit the ground running. I'm gonna just hit this so hard. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm just gonna focus all of my attention onto this. I don't care what it takes. The day I got back from Europe, not even like we're talking hours.
Yeah.
A bass player texts me and says, hey, you want to join a cover band?
Oh, there you go.
Literally that same day. I was like, yeah, absolutely. Let's freaking, I'm in.
You were
I'm
like,
gonna get paid every weekend.
The signs are coming out.
Yes. So, and that, you know, led to another cover band, which then, you know, there was another point where I was still in that cover band, and I was working still part-time because, you know, it's still only cover work. You're only working like 2 days a weekend, so it's not enough to really support yourself. But
Right.
there was a point where, like, I had made reference before about the gig for the Nashville artist, where I had a gig, a higher paying gig that same day that I turned down to play with that artist because I knew Jeff was in that band. And I don't know why, but I said something in my gut says, take this gig. This could be more opportunities later on. You can't turn down people, like, sometimes, you know what I mean? Regardless if it's more pay or less pay. Sometimes you just have to listen to your gut instinct. And in that instance, I just said, fuck it. And I did it. And, you know, that rekindled the connection with Jeff and the guys in Kindo, you know? And the last one is before I joined Kindo, I was playing with Jeff and you know, a lot of artists. I was still in the cover band thing, and I was on the phone with my current girlfriend. Hi Val, if you're watching. And I basically said to her, I said, man, wouldn't it be so cool if I was in the reign of Kindo? And she said, yeah, that'd be awesome. I'm like, yeah, it'd just be so sick. This is before I got into the band, like 2 months before.
Yeah.
Like, no idea. And then here we are. So
That's beautiful. Yeah, it happens. Yeah. I totally believe it. There's so many things that I've said. I'm like, this is what's gonna happen, and then I freak him out, and I'm like, yeah, that's just the way it is. You gotta manifest things. You gotta be like positive, and you just gotta go for things. And yeah, your heart will like lead you there too. And
Absolutely.
and that gut is your gut. You gotta go with what your
trust your gut.
Yes, your instinct.
She had mentioned that I was gonna get my electronic drum set in November, and this was like earlier in the year. and I didn't think I was going to lose my area where where I had my acoustic kit. And unfortunately, in October, I was told that the area is going to get utilized for something else. So I had no spot to play my drums, and I had no drums to play on because I can't bring it into this room.
Sure.
And then, sure enough, November comes, and I get the electronic kit, and she was like, "I told you."
Yeah. Yeah. That's more chart reading though. I'm like really like nerdy into astrology, and I said something's gonna happen in November that's gonna like I'm thinking it's the electronic kit. I told them, I'm like, because it has to do with this and this and like just a lot of things. And I told them, I was like, this kind of stuff, this is where you have to like he was streaming video games, and I said, no, you got to get on them drums and start streaming drums. And then boom, it's just like snowball, like you said, you know. And I was like, it's gonna be so good, it's gonna be great. And yeah, so I mean, I think that, yeah, manifesting is a real thing. So that's beautiful. So then after that, you came from Europe and wow. So then, okay, so what led you to where you are now? Like, it's been 3 years. Where do you think in 2 years you want to be with streaming and Twitch in the platform?
That's an interesting question. I haven't really thought that far ahead. Well,
long-term goals.
Yeah, long-term goals. It's so short sighted for me right now, just due to not the unknown. You know, the unknowing of where we will be. You know, obviously things I hope pick up with my band. You know, but as far as streaming goes, if I can do this and make a living, that'd be awesome. If I could, even if it's just like extra, like I hate to tie it to money, but income, like that's, you know, because it's weird. There's a point, at least for me, where I get to like, I think about anything that I'm going to do, and it's like, how do I turn this into a living? Because it's still fun to do and I still enjoy doing it, but how do I monetize it? How do I, you know, there was a point where I turned my thought process around from doing gigs for free to, no, you spent X amount of dollars on school, X amount of hours behind this drum set, honing your craft. You're worth way more than what they're paying you, obviously. So it's like, okay, if you want me to do anything, I need to be properly compensated on some level, you know. That's just
you
how
got to know your worth. For sure.
Exactly. That's
especially if it's going to be a business of yours, you know, and that's what your end goal is, playing drums as a full-time, you know, musician.
Exactly.
And that being your, you know, your livelihood. You have to put the value in and then, you know, charge accordingly.
Exactly.
So
as a freelance musician, you don't get to do that very often, especially in New York City. New York City, it's rough there, you know. Well, now there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. But when it was alive and well, it was still very, very difficult to find, you know, well-paying gigs, you know. Then at that point, it just becomes, you just do it for the fun, you know. You just do it because you like it. It's your buddies, you know.
Yeah, especially on Twitch, everybody's pretty supportive here. A lot of the drummers in the drumming community. I told you, I remember going into one of your streams.
Such a great community.
And you're like, yeah, I started doing this now. I'm like, oh, you got to link up with the drummers. Like the community here of drummers, they're all freaking badass. They're all different, and they're all have cool. They all have a different flavor, different vibe, and they're all chill with each other. And I'm telling you, because I've interviewed most of the drummers here on Twitch on the podcast. And I tell you, every single one of them, super cool. Like, I mean, that's why I always say drummers are super cool. They're the coolest because, like, they're the ones in the bands that are kind of more level-headed and more, like, stable, I guess, because they're in the back and they're just watching everything happen in front of them, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome, and you'll find a lot of great people and connections and collabs. You know, collabs are very big. I'm always telling people, I'm always hooking people up, like, you need to like meet this person, and then and it's beautiful because you see everyone like vibing off of each other and going into the streams. And then at the end of the day, we're all in each other's streams hanging out. It's almost like, and I always say it, like, at the end of the day, we all end up in the same bar, kind of, in the same streams at night, you know? Like, we're all raiding each other, and it's like, oh, this person's going to raid this person and that person, and then we're all, hey, I saw you in the other stream. Yeah, I know. I just came from the raid, you know?
Yep.
So it's awesome. I love it. And so, yeah, to me, the community is what keeps it thriving and keeps it going, and the interactions with the chat and the people that you meet that are really big supporters and fans that become like fam, you know?
Exactly.
So I think that's really important. Hey Zen, yeah. And so there's a big thing happening now with musicians coming in from not being able to gig and saying, well, you know, there's this moment right now. This is the time to stream. This is the time to jump in. I mean, so you jumped in right at the right time. You know, this year has been pretty fruitful for a lot of people. Some people was like, oh, it's been a sucky year, but for streamers it wasn't so bad. A lot of people grew because a lot of people were stuck indoors watching streams, right? Or Netflix or whatever.
Exactly. No, you're 100% right. Yeah, I've talked to a lot of my friends. They were, you know, questioning their whole entire existence, and I'm over here like, bro, I'm doing this.
Yes,
oh, I'm doing these
hey.
streams. I'm setting up my recording studio.
Yes.
This is sick. I'm loving it. Like, I'm back. I feel like I'm, you know, 15, 16 years old again. You know, back with parents. You know what I mean? Like, just getting out of the city because it was so crazy. So.
Yeah.
You know, just it was cool. I felt good. You know, it's like I was working from home, teaching at home, and it just playing video games and stuff like that. So I totally get it. Like the whole world went online all at once.
Yes.
You know, more so than ever. And yeah, I wanted to be a part of that. And
I question those who question about being online now.
yeah. Yep.
Like, are you out of your mind?
Exactly.
So do you have other kits besides the one that you have in front of you?
I do, yes. I also play, before I had this Tama, I bought a Gretsch Renown RN1. So it's a few years old. I think I got it in 2016 or 17. And it's white. You can't see it. They're all in cases and stuff. But I usually take that kit out when I go on tour because I don't really care if it gets beat up that much. And I also have a bop kit, Gretsch Catalina Club, 18-inch bass drum, 14-inch floor, 12-inch tom, I think, on the top. So jazzy sizes if I ever want to do some club dates or go into somebody's apartment and play quietly, you know, which I've definitely done.
Nice.
Yeah. I feel like I thought about things. It's like, what kind of tools do I need to succeed, right? I'm very much, again, I want to be hireable. So it's like if somebody calls me and say, I need you for a jazz gig, I'd be like, I got you. Oh, do you have a small cocktail kit? I got you. You know, it's like, oh, we're going to be playing a tour for, 30 days. Do you have a kit for that? Or, yeah, for 30 days. Do you have a tour kit for that? Absolutely, yes. Do you have, with all the gear, the hardware? I got everything. Let's go. Whatever it is, I got it. I don't want anybody to be like, oh, do you have, can we do this, blah, blah, blah. And I'll be like, oh, shit, I don't have that. I don't want that. I hate that feeling of like, oh, I don't have something I need.
Yeah, you want to be prepared.
Yeah,
I
you're ready.
overbuy things. I overbuy. I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy this now just in case I never, somebody might ask me if I need this. And there's times where, like, I've bought stuff and I'm like, see, I'm glad I bought that,
You never go wrong with, like, extra equipment either. Even though if it's sitting, you just never know when something's going to come up and be like, I got a backup.
It's true.
Like, I have all these, like, cables and stuff. Like, I have a whole bunch of USB stuff, and you never know when a USB cable is going to fray or fry.
That's just the rule of thumb. You don't throw out cables unless they're dead. You don't throw them out.
Like, I have a whole tote full of them I still got to go through just in case. I don't even know what works or what doesn't.
USB cables right here. Look, I don't think I've ever used this cable. And
yeah, we all have like a bin, like one of those Target bins filled with cables, and you're like, I don't know, I might need that one day. And then you're just like, what is this just sitting there in the closet?
I have just recently started organizing.
That's smart. I got a little lavalier mic I've never used before, but I have it if I ever need it, So
he's prepared. Kendall is prepared.
Practice safe audio, kids.
Yes. So, okay, so what was your worst moment in a gig, and what was your best moment? What was like a nightmare there?
We love to hear stories.
I love these stories, yes, because we've had some crazy ones.
Well, I'll refer to the one. I mean, I've had some nightmare gigs.
Yeah.
But I'll talk about one that was pertained to me and my own inability to mentally handle a situation.
Okay.
Where my brain stopped and my hands stopped working. The very first Kindo show I did.
Oh, the first one?
The very first show I did.
Oh, man.
So, this is the first show. I'm nervous as all hell.
First
and
impressions.
And so I told you it was a house tour, so it was very intimate. There only had to be maybe like 25, 30 people there. And then we were playing at this like sort of playhouse type of, kind of like a Boy Scout or like kind of clubhouse type of thing in like some backwoods Pennsylvania, where they came and they ticketed the whole thing and they brought us food. It was very family oriented. It was beautiful. But it's weird when you're sitting in front of like 25 people in lawn chairs and they're just staring at you because they don't know who you are. And you're replacing somebody with, I was replacing like Big Shoes, filling in for Big Shoes at that point.
Yeah, it was like your first time with the band as a new drummer.
And everyone's like, "Who's this guy?" Oh,
let's see.
Where's the other guy? Where's the other? We're giving you kind of like, "Oh, man, you got some big shoes to fill." Yes, thank you.
Oh, damn.
Thanks. That's added pressure.
That beanie better do justice up there.
Some fans are brutal. Like I love all Kindo fans. Don't get me wrong, but they'll literally come up to you and just be like, "So I heard you mess up in this song," and I'm like,
damn, the
dick.
shade.
Yeah, I'm like, what? You get up there and do that for an hour and a half, like 2 hours. How dare you? How dare you?
You did good, but
so anyway, we get to this song called "Return to Me," which is a very complex beat where it's almost like the band is playing in a different time signature as the drums. I think the drums are playing in 3 and the band is playing in 4. I think that's kind of what's happening. I analyzed it a long time ago, and now I don't want to think about it. I just want to play it. So anyway, I overcomplicated the beat, and I did like a Kendall. I was trying to be like, let me be fancy. Well, when your CPU is like, and brain power is like filled up to the top, and you don't have any like more room to like think about what you're doing, and your hands are, you're nervous, so they don't work as well. And like, I was warming up, I was doing the whole thing. It doesn't matter. It's your brain is just fried. So anyway, I'm trying to do it. My hands just stop, and I lose the beat, and the whole thing comes crashing down.
Oh no!
Literally just stop in the whole song. And
the worst you could do as a musician is just stop.
I had no choice because like. I've dropped my stick before. That's fine. I'll drop a stick. I don't care. That's fine. I drop my stick a million times on stream because I'm so loose. I don't even care. Like, whatever. I drop my stick and I just give a funny face. Like, did I just do that?
There's actual like commands for that. Like if you drop a stick, it's like they added to how many times you drop the stick in the stream, and
really?
It's like a funny thing. Yeah, it's like a fun.
Oh man,
thing.
I need that. I need that.
Yeah.
I drop it like 2 or 3 times a stream, if not more. Like
it counts.
It's bad.
It's like a funny thing though. It's like
I don't care.
Yeah, it's not. So
that doesn't matter to me.
First gig with Reign of Kindo.
Reign of Kindo, yep.
Okay, and, so go on.
So anyway, I look over and the guitar player gives me like the dirtiest look, like,
this guy,
you motherfucker, you fucked up, blah blah blah, and I'm like, damn it, and like I just feel like awful inside because it's like I'm letting everybody down, I'm letting the fans down, but Joey the singer handled it so beautifully as he tends to do. He's very well spoken. He's a caring, charismatic person who, it was nice. And I literally just said sorry, and he was like, "It's okay, it's all good, man." So we got through. Like, he turns to them, he's like, "This is the first time we played together, everybody, so we're working out the kinks." And he just handled it beautifully, so gracefully. That's a great word. And
that's nice.
We got back to it. And I just felt so low. But I will tell you, what I did the next 2 days? Because we had a show, I think the very next day. And, I did the drive from the place in Pennsylvania to Maryland. And all I did was listen to that song like 50 times that day. Like, I was like, I will never let this happen again. I want to know that song so well that it just strengthened me. I just said, no, I don't fail. That's not who I am as a person. So like I said, listen to the song. We ran it in sound check. It went totally fine. And I haven't messed it up since. So
determination.
That's kind of the moral of that story. But that was the first like that was the
so
worst.
bad. It didn't sound so scary. I mean,
It was horrifying.
Being in those shoes for the first time, the first impression, and having that pressure. I think the pressure is that gave you that kind of vibe, and then maybe that's
Definitely.
why.
100%. You know, it's like I don't know these guys that well. You know, I know a couple of them because we've been in bands together, but I personally didn't, know them that well, especially like the singer and the keyboard players. Like I don't. They weren't my family yet or my best friends yet. Now we've spent a couple of years together, so it's like we're buds. We've been in the trenches together. So
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, it's the first time, so he handled it gracefully, and it was great. And then look at you guys now, 3 years later, almost, and still and getting better and better. And so this new album, what's the name of it, and what's the single that's popping right now? Because I know I think the one I really really like is "We're Better Off Together."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
That one's really like a bop. I like that one.
Well, thank you. That's a fun one. So. The album isn't really, it's not released yet or going to be released and probably till next year. And the title is still working. But we have like basically a queue of like 20 songs to kind of get through. So we're kind of going to release them in slow increments. So we're doing 3, since basically Better Off Together. We're going to have one more coming out, I think, at the end of this month. And that'll be like kind of the first wave of songs that they're going to be like kind of cataloged together. So we have Better Off Together, Stolen Treasure, and then the next single will be called Waiting on the Wind, which is a fucking banger. I'm just letting you all know right now. That's like one of my absolute favorite songs. So as far as album comes, it's still in a work in progress. We know how we want it. We're trying some things. We're noticing trends where singles are doing better. Singles just do better right now over an album at this point, So we're trying something different. The band's never done this before. And who am I to say otherwise? Because I don't, we're trying to learn the new world that is online as well. So, but we are also doing a live stream. We're going to be doing our own live stream.
Oh, right. Talk about that. It's like a concert online.
Yes. So I don't know if you guys have been kind of following your favorite bands or whatnot, but a lot of my favorite bands have been doing these live streams at recording studios or going to really cool places. And I actually think Dance Gavin Dance is doing one in a couple days on the Sacramento Bridge, which is fucking cool.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite bands, Leprous, they've done a couple of them. What's that? Glass Animals. I don't know if you guys are into like synth pop stuff. They just did one a few months ago. That was really fun. They had amazing production. It was like top notch. So I just said to my band, said to the guys in Kindo, I was like, we need to take advantage of this right now. Like we can't do regular shows, but we can create a unique experience where we're going to be in people's living rooms, and live with them. So, I set up the whole thing. I got the recording studio. I got the videographer. I handled pretty much everything about this and just kind of pulled the trigger. So we're doing it on Valentine's Day of 2021. So if you and your loved one want to spend a nice, cozy afternoon,
nice.
It's a matinee. It's at 3 p.m. Matinee with listening to some beautiful music. That's going to be very... what's the word? Just crafted. Like this is going to be like it's a vision. I have a whole vision of how to scope the set list. For those who buy VIP tickets, there's 2 tiers tickets, right? There's the VIP and the general admission. General admission, simply they just get access to the show. With the VIP, they're going to get to do like a little hangout with us before the show. And they're doing then a Q&A after the show. So we'll ask some questions. But also what's going on now for the whole month of December is if you buy your tickets now, you get part of the you get to vote for part of the set, 4 songs that are going to be on the set list. So
buy your tickets.
Yeah, buy your tickets, guys. So,
they're selling out fast.
Yeah, they're selling out well. How do you sell out on a live show? But or what was it? On an online show.
That's the
Well, we've got
beauty of it. That's the beauty of it. There's no limit. Like everyone
It's
can
cool.
watch it anywhere in the world in the comfort of your own home. So,
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
that's
beautiful.
part of my thing.
Absolutely.
There's pros and cons, and one of the pros also is we were talking about it with like another drummer, how when you go to gigs you have to take, and then for drummers, you know, we know that it's like a hassle to just bring everything, because it's not just a guitar and a gig bag. You got
Nope.
equipment, you got like stuff that could be like either left behind or stolen, or you know, not being able to like actually, you know, travel and do it in your house or in your studio. Is such an awesome, you know, kind of, it's a relief, right? And it's more comfortable, even though it's, you know, not live like in front of people, but like with streams, yeah, you don't have to worry about those kind of things, and people from all over the world can enjoy you, you know, not just in just like other venues and things like that.
Yeah, that's definitely the beauty of it. Is just the people who have never experienced us live before will get to have that experience. You know, like we haven't been over to Europe yet. You know, and you know they haven't been into Japan in years. And you know we were gonna go to Brazil this year, but obviously COVID happened, so we weren't gonna. That got taken off the table. And you know, so people who've never seen us before, we're gonna get to like really experience what we do as a band, which is really great.
So what was your favorite gig experience? Because we already know that your first one was like that whole scary moment.
That's a good question. I gotta think. What was my favorite gig? I think Orlando is up there for me, and back in August of 2019. Was it 19? Yeah, 2019. Or New York. You know, we played Mercury Lounge. And
nice.
That was sold out. That was cool.
Mercury Lounge is cool.
That was I think the energy of the crowd. Orlando's crowd was disgusting. Yeah. And LA's crowd. LA and New York. And even San Francisco. Those are like the 3-4 big ones. I don't know why Orlando was so good, but they just love us down there. So that place was absolutely bonkers. So yeah, I it's hard to pick. I've had so many great moments, you know, where it's just like.
It was the last day of the tour. Oh, so that's why they went out with a bang. They ended up like, you know, you put the most energy in like your first and last shows, I think. I feel most of the time. You know?
Definitely. 100%. The last show we were like, we're going to fucking tear the roof off of this place, you know?
Right. And see that, and then so the audience feels that energy too, and that's why they get like hyped. That's what I feel. Because the energy between the crowd and you and the band and everything. So first day and last day of the tour is usually like big days for like having good crowds. So I want to hear one of these awesome songs right now live. So which song do you want to play first? Because we got 3 songs here with Kindle that he's gonna play. So which one were you thinking?
I'll play. Let me look really quickly. No, that's a good one, but I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna play "Hold Out." That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna play "Hold Out."
Beautiful.
It's a very fun drum song. All right. Let me do my thing. Switchy switch.
Ooh, yes.
Switch it up.
Switch it up.
Thank you, Making Money, for gifting that sub to Cranky Pancakes. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. All right, guys. So Kendall's gonna play one of the songs from his band, Reign of Kindo. And what's the name of it again? What was the name? Oh.
My memory is fleeting as I prepare to touch my pen to the fiber of this page. Though the ink will run dry long before I can write my final tale, given all that lies in store. I'm holding on for dear life. There will be the good times after crawling through the strife. Every moment passing, never to return. I'm getting on in my day, sifting through the sadness for the goal of better days. As long as I keep breathing, I can find my way. I just can't give in. The world's so dead that I live in. I'll hold out something else, something working can't tell. My way beyond the dawn, straight into the light. All that spares, I'll have my wits to guide me through the night. I don't dare to turn my head to either side. It's me to sway, like the words that people say. But they won't sweep me away, not today. I just can't give in. The world's so dead that I live in. I'll hold out something else, something bigger something better than something we can stand to
Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
A little spicy.
That's amazing.
That was nice. I like it.
Oh, thank you.
I like that little it has like a little bit of samba riff to it.
Yeah, kind of. A lot of Latin influences with this band. But that song was called Hold Out.
Hold out. Okay.
Hold
yeah,
Out.
Yeah. Wow. So that's in which album?
The Rhythm, Chord, and Melody. By far the most popular album.
Nice.
By
Yeah.
far.
Is there any Hispanic people in your band?
There were. There are no longer. The original drummer is Puerto Rican, and the original percussion player was also Puerto Rican.
Oh, there you go.
So
Huh.
that's why that's in there. And I am fortunate enough, or feel fortunate, to have studied with the great late Chuck Silverman, who is no longer with us, but he made you feel like absolute dog shit when you played in front of him. And he was like, you are not doing it right. You know, and this guy goes to Cuba, and he was like...
Oh, serious.
Oh, God, yeah. He was the guy. Like,
Yeah.
when it came to Latin drumming on the drum set, you know, and that's the thing about Latin drumming in particular, is we're trying to replicate a million different percussion instruments, right? The congas, the bongos, the claves, and the bell patterns, the go-go bells, and
Yeah.
you're trying to put all that together and you're putting it all here. Which fortunately we have 4 limbs, so we could do that. But again, that's what makes it so difficult.
The independency on that is even crazier, especially trying to keep the timing.
Yep.
Because like it's not
independence.
It's not very straightforward either. There's a lot of like alterations and patterns.
Yep. And the thing about all those patterns is they're usually dances, or there's the bell pattern is like the dance, like mambo and Mozambique and all those patterns, samba, right? Those are dances. I know I'm jumping from Afro-Cuban to, Brazilian rhythms.
It's all relative.
Yeah. So. But yeah, it just if I'll harp back on going to school and doing my homework a little bit. If I didn't go to the school that I did and learn from the people that I did, I wouldn't be in this band. I wouldn't be able to play that. Like 20-year-old me who before he went to college could not play that. I could never do that back then.
Yeah.
So
I grew up. My family's Puerto Ricans, and we had little like jam sessions at my godfather's house, and I was like, I don't know, 10, 12 years old, and they threw me on the timbales.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to learn how to play like salsa and merengue on that. And like the variations, like when to hit the low timbale versus like going from the cowbell to the side sticking.
To the side stick, sure.
Yeah. So it's like you can implement that on the kit, and then you have more of an understanding as far as like where certain patterns are supposed to be and how to play each thing.
Like real Latin drummers, like who understand what you're talking about, like the timbales and stuff like that, they'll be playing those patterns on like the rims and the toms while keeping the clave with the left foot, on a wood block or cowbell or something like that, and then doing like a certain type of bass drum pattern, if it's samba or like it could be a bayao type of pattern or a songo type
double in like do.
Yeah, exactly. So depending on what you're thinking, and depending on the region, it's like you have all 4 of those, and you when you hear it right, it's like, oh, that, and it's infectious. I love Latin drumming. I love it more than jazz. Give me Latin music before jazz. That's not to hate on jazz. It's
just more flavorful.
It's just so
it's got some spice.
Yeah, it's like you can't hear it without your body wanting to do this and move, and
you want to wiggle.
Exactly. Yes. If you're listening to Latin music and you're not dancing, you're dead. Like
it's just infectious like that.
So infectious.
So what are your favorite then? Cool. So you just said you prefer like Latin fusion, right? Or flavor instead of jazz. Mm-hmm. So what are your major influences in terms of music and genres? What's your like top 10 bands that you're like in love with that you've always liked?
Well, obviously I can start with my earlier influences with like Korn and Incubus. Incubus I can still go back to and not feel weird about it. Like if I go back to Korn, I'm like, I don't know if it holds up and stands up as well as some of the other stuff. It's fun to listen to and just like headbang.
Like Got the Life. Remember that?
Yeah, exactly. Just a great song. It's a disco beat. It's literally a disco beat in a metal song, and which is sick.
Yes.
And if I was to go back to any new metal band, it'd probably be like the Deftones. Like that to me, it's even more interesting drumming.
I'm so glad that they're like people are noticing them more now because growing
they're still going.
Yeah, they just released a new album this year, and so it's really awesome that younger people are just discovering them. Like we grew up with them, and then they kind of faded away and stuff like that. Like they've been brought up a lot lately in the streams. I've noticed.
I think there's maybe a little resurgence happening because if you think about all the bands that have dropped music this year, 2020 and 2019, like Korn did drop a new album.
Yeah.
What other band? System of a Down just dropped a couple tracks randomly. Deftones dropped a new album, and I think there's one other band that like from that era dropped another album, and it's just like it's kind of like okay, it's maybe a little resurgence and. Not to keep talking about Korn, but if anybody did listen to that new album, it's actually really good. Yeah. The drumming on it is great. Ray Lazier is a phenomenal drummer. What an upgrade. What a monster. He's actually an MI Musicians Institute alum as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. When I went to the open house, he was there, and he had just gotten the Korn gig, so he was talking about, he got his own signature sticks and all the cool stuff, and it was
Once you
really
land
cool.
something like that, you're gonna get all the stuff.
Oh yeah, you're getting everything. But he was playing with David Lee Roth before that, so I don't, he had high profile gigs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
that's true.
Yeah, yep. You could go see like some old David Lee Roth footage from like the early 2000s, and you see young Ray Lazier playing behind him.
So what are your favorite sticks too? I have to bring that one up really quick. We were talking about sticks.
That's a good question. I currently use the Vic Firth Matt Garska signature sticks. Before this, I had gone through a kind of a journey on how to get to this point. I had switched to brands. I never was really much of a Vic Firth guy growing up. I kind of used ProMark. I think I used it more because didn't Mike Portnoy and I know Neil Peart definitely used ProMark. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Portnoy does.
He does. So those were kind of the guys I was like, oh, let me, influences, let me copy them. So as and when I came back from college, I was like trying all different sticks. I was using that's where I learned to play Vic Firth there. But then I switched over to Vader, and I used those for a little while. Then I used some 55As, Vic Firths, and that's kind of where I stayed for a long time because it's in between a 5A and a 5B. And I was teaching one day, and a kid had a pair of these, the Matt Garska signatures. And I was like, do you mind if I use them for the lesson? And I did. And I was just like, oh my God, this just feels so, yeah. I had that like epiphany moment. And I don't know what it is. It feels absolutely natural. And funny enough, the back end, the butt end of the stick is basically a 55A. So it feels the same, but the tip is different. It's more like a Buddy Rich tip, which I really like. And I get a different sound on it, which is, I recently went to my local music store, and they didn't have any of these. So I switched back to the 55As, and they feel okay, but the tip, I hit it, and I don't know, something about it just doesn't feel right, so.
So important.
It really is.
Yeah.
Tools are an extension of you, right? They're an extension of who you are as a person. So if this isn't feeling right, if this doesn't feel good, and it feels, too heavy here, or too thick here, too thin, you're not going to be able to communicate properly.
That's so true.
Yeah.
So true.
I'm using like the Fire Green ProMark.
Yeah, I was trying those recently.
And they're pretty heavy.
They are heavy.
Because I have the 5Bs, and they're smooth, and they very durable.
Sure. Yeah, definitely.
But transitioning from the acoustic, and I just started playing with those. I used to play the regular Hirakashi Oak 5Bs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then I did nylon tips first, and then I moved into the wood tips because the nylon kept popping off and beating the back of my singer.
I don't know how people play nylon tips. It blows my mind. It literally blows my mind, because when I grew up, I literally broke every single nylon tip.
And it's not like you're always hitting the tip either, because like sometimes when you're playing on the fat part of the stick in general.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if you I have some chips right here. You know what I mean? If I hit like this like the symbol right here or something like that, it's gonna pop it off. It's like, stop it, knock it off.
Then you're prone to stabbing your drum. Like
yeah, exactly. That's why you get these dimples and marks in your drums and stuff, and that's never good.
Yeah.
I guess just get back to your question about bands.
You said Korn.
Korn, Incubus, Deftones, I'll put that in there, absolutely. So this is like my early age. Then I want to say like The Used. I want to say like Muse.
All great.
Man,
all great bands.
all the great stuff. It's all mainly rock stuff, and I'm influenced by like Jeff Beck and Vinnie Colaiuta's drumming. It's just insane drumming. Like I can watch his Jeff live at Ronnie Scott's DVD, or listen to it on Spotify if you'd like, or whatever. You can watch it on YouTube even if you wanted to, and it just be blown away by the solos and the freedom that Vinnie Colaiuta has. It's just astounding. And currently I'm a huge Periphery fan. I love that band. I think for modern day gent music, they are the kings of it because they kind of pushed it forward. I remember listening to this band before they even had a singer, you know, and now where they are, they're huge now. And it's fun to watch them grow and watch them progress and just get better and better and better. And these last 2 albums they put out, in my opinion, are just masterpieces of just fine-tuning their craft. And Pliny is up there. Obviously, I mentioned him earlier with his drummer, Chris Allison, and even Troy Wright, the drummer before that. And what else am I listening to? Any kind of like proggy stuff. I guess what I've really noticed for myself, I always gravitated to anything that was heavily rhythmic. So like when kids were listening to like pop punk, I was listening to like Mudvayne second album, which is like super heavy, and I was listening to like Tool's Lateralis, you know, and everybody's like, I'm listening to Good Charlotte, and I'm like, I hate this.
I was you then. I was you. Yes, I was like you then. Hey, Darth.
And I was listening to like Slipknot, you know.
Yes.
I loved Slipknot. I loved it. I couldn't play it back then, but I loved it. Oh God.
I know. It felt like we were almost separated. Like the kids that were listening to those things, and then Blink 182 was kind of their, like, they had their own little group.
I hated all of it.
Yeah.
Hated it. I hated all of it.
And they didn't understand the love for Tool. Like,
I was the only one who listened to that stuff, at least for me. I didn't. None of my friends listened to that. Or my other friends would listen to like Beck, which Beck is cool, like for an artist and stuff, but it never really did a lot for me because it was just simple grooves, and I was always like, give me like the most complicated rhythmic patterns, you know.
Yeah, like there was like a little cluster of that, like people that like Beck liked Cake, like he was playing Cake today, Cake and Butthole Surfers and stuff like that. Like he had this afternoon he had a stream, and everybody was like putting in Cake, and I was like, okay, we're going this route. All right, let me put some Butthole Surfer, put in Pepper. So like, yeah, there was that kind of like back, like little like nerdy, awkward, but like, yeah, they were rhythmic. They had like their little thing, but I was like, Tool, man, Tool, you know?
Give me that weird stuff.
Yes. I was vibing off of that too. So I get it. And Slipknot and Deftones, that was me. You know, that was more me too.
Yeah, I was just always a heavier kind of guy. I was just gravitated to heavier stuff. Not like super. It has to have a melody though. Like I have a hard time with, as much as I love and respect Meshuggah and all that stuff, I can't listen to it for very long. I just
get it.
I tone out. I'm just
bleed. How many times have you had that since July?
Like half a dozen at least, if not more.
That's what the drummers be getting on Twitch. It's like the free bird of drums.
Yeah, exactly. No, you know what I get more than that? Tom Sawyer. I get that more than anything.
Oh.
So that's the most requested, you would say?
Tom Sawyer, 100%.
You played Tom Sawyer. Can you Rush?
Yeah, can you play Rush? And don't get me wrong, I love Rush. Like I've seen them 4 or 5 times live, and they're phenomenal. And
wow, you're lucky. That's amazing.
Yeah, I still have yet to see them live.
And you never will.
I know.
And you never will.
Rub that in, why don't you?
I'm sorry, I had to.
So okay, all right, we're still on the. Did we get to 10 already? I think we did, right? Or no?
Probably. I've just been naming bands at this point.
Yeah, left and right.
So you've seen Rush three times. I'm sorry, like
four
times.
4 times.
I think 4 or 5. I can't remember.
Did you see Porcupine Tree yet?
I did.
Oh,
yep. I did.
Man.
I still haven't got to see them either.
I saw them, and you never will. And,
I know.
I saw them actually open up for Coheed and Cambria.
What?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I saw them before.
Oh, you saw them?
Yeah.
Oh, Coheed? You saw Coheed? They're fun. They're actually from Middletown, New York, around that area. Was it? Where's it? Nyack, I think, actually. Nyack?
Right. Yeah. That's far, up. State.
I like how you say it's far. It's not that far.
It's far.
It's not the city, you know.
Yeah, I didn't say it's the city. I just said they're from New York.
Yeah.
But that was a weird bill because like Porcupine was so pristine. Their sound is so dialed in. It's so like immaculate. And then Coheed is just like a wall of sound, people moshing. And I was like, I don't want anything to do with this. And I loved Coheed growing up. Like those first couple albums, they're phenomenal. I love them.
That's a big contrast in tone.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like mentally checked out. I was like, no, I'm here for this. And then I saw Porcupine Tree again at the Radio City show they did.
Oh, damn! That must have been the sounds and the The acoustics in there.
It was actually not as good.
No?
In my opinion. Nope.
Really?
I don't think it sounded as good. Nope.
I saw Dream Theater there, and it was actually pretty. It is a little echoey, I think.
It is. I just it's more theatery. I don't know. I don't know. It was weird for me.
So then that's perfect to go into the next questions. What were your 5 favorite concerts? Because you're a performer. What performance did you enjoy the most out of like your favorite bands? What was your favorite top 5 favorite concerts of all time that you've been to?
Okay. Let's see. Periphery recently. That's the last show I actually went to. It has to be up there. I saw them at Brooklyn Steel.
Brooklyn Steel.
Awesome.
Oh, Brooklyn Steel is. Oh, I love going there.
Brooklyn Steel is awesome.
That's my spot.
Snarky Puppy. Just saw those guys last year. Also at Brooklyn Steel. Awesome show.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say Rush, Atlantic City. I saw him at the Taj Mahal, I think it was. And I had like front row tickets or fourth row tickets, I think it was.
Nice.
Yeah. And that's super memorable.
Oh, Brooklyn Steel, though. Yeah, me too.
The sound in there is for a big 4,000 like capacity arena or whatever venue. The sound is phenomenal.
It's one of my favorite venues for sure.
And then I'll say Steven Wilson. I actually saw him at the NJ New Jersey Performance Arts Center, NJ PAC.
Oh.
That was awesome.
PNC?
That was so good. No, not PNC. NJ PAC. So this one's in Newark.
Okay.
PNC's down the Parkway. But yeah, so that was, and then anytime that I get to see one of my like favorite drummers like in an intimate setting, that I actually prefer.
Me too.
Over a lot of other like big huge things. Like if I can go see one of my absolute favorite drum heroes, like I saw Keith Carlock. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he plays with Wayne Krantz, Osnoy. Osnoy's always plays at the bitter end. Yeah, right.
That was the last place Luna played before COVID. Yeah. The bitter end.
Nice little spot.
Yeah, I've played there loads of times. I don't even know how many times. It's a nice little spot. It's so famous, you know. It's so
like
famous.
a legendary spot. It's kind of like the
sound
CBGB's.
guy I was afraid of though.
Was it? Oh, I forget his name.
The big Italian guy.
Oh no! I hadn't.
Oh, he's actually sorry, not the sound guy, the front door guy.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
He was
I
nice
know
to
you're
me.
talking.
He's very intimidating. Like
Yeah.
He was
he was
cool.
like, "You can't go back there."
Yep.
He's doing his
Like,
job.
Okay, all right.
I was with my girlfriend, and he was like, "Is she a +1 or something like that?" Like, "Oh, you got to pay for her." And I'm like, "All right,
Yeah.
$10, whatever."
Just
Here's
gotta
the
wait
cover.
outside until the door opens.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, bro, what do you why?
Like, bro, relax.
Chill. So yeah, like I said, anytime I see like one of my drum heroes, like I saw Vinny Colaiuta with Jeff Beck like 2 years ago at where was that?
Yeah, so
it
much
starts with a
history.
W. I've seen so many bands. I try to see the heroes, you know, when I can, because I just know that you know, it's epic. You know, I've seen what's his name, Dave Weckl. You know, I saw him play with Osnoy. I saw Dennis Chambers play with Mike Stern. You know, and it's, yeah, I've seen the legends, and it's like you don't know when the last time or if another opportunity will ever come back up. You know, so it's like, oh, I got to do this. You know.
Yeah, I missed on a lot of those opportunities. Like I know the owner of Drum Tax, the muffling or dampening they're not the gels but the foam ones.
Okay. Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Thomas Lang uses them a lot.
Gotcha.
And so yeah, I know the owner, and he had invited me to go to these clinics, and I've always wanted to go, and I just didn't go.
Sure.
And he would have had, you know, I would have been able to meet these like drummers and stuff, and I'm like, damn, man, like I'm kicking myself in the ass about that now. Like,
yeah, it's kind of weird to meet your heroes. Like I remember meeting Gavin Harrison because he. This is like that manifest destiny, because everybody knew in my grade or whatever, like in the drum like the drum school or whatever, the drum crew, while we were all learning, that Gavin Harrison was my guy. I would never, I wouldn't shut up about the guy. I'd be like, oh, you should put some Gavin Harrison stuff in here, you know, in your curriculum. I would literally tell the teacher, like, come on, being a total asshole. Anyway, they would always bring in guest artists to come in. Ray Lazier did one. Marco Miniman. Who else?
I'm in Marco.
Oh, Marco's amazing. He's such a nice guy.
Awesome.
Tommy Igo, Chris Coleman, Jason McGurr from Death Cab for Cutie, Chad Smith from the Red Hot Chili Peppers came in, and lo and behold, Gavin Harrison. And I was just like, oh my god, no way! Like I swiped off the door. Like they put up the little flyers. I swiped the flyer off the door and kept it. I still have it today.
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
I love that.
Yep,
That is
still have it.
amazing.
And I got to I had him autograph the Radio City tickets that I went to. So,
That's
but meeting him,
great.
it's like it's so nervous. I was like, oh, yeah, what do I ask him? What do I talk to? It's just like, I got my picture with him and stuff, and it was cool.
It's
Yeah,
cool.
I try to play it cool when you meet like your
Exactly.
drummer idols and stuff.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like
Maybe next-
like do I want to be a nerd and talk about music, or do I want to be like a real person and talk about life? Like, what do I want to do?
Yeah,
here?
and so it depends. You kind of have to like play it. You have to kind of just talk about little like maybe this or like lead the conversation. Like I met Matt Garska at NAMM in January, and he totally nice guy. And the first thing I said to him is like, "Hey, I just picked up your Mastering Time Part 2 off your website." He was like, as soon as I said that, he was like, "What did you get out of it? What do you think about it? What like tell me all about it?" Like he was
You're
just
like,
he
"Wow."
was sucked in. Like literally, I sucked him into like what I was. And he was like, "Are you also a Meinl?" Because it was at the Meinl booth, and he's like, "Are you a Meinl endorsee?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not. I'm in a band called the Reign of Kindo." He's like, "Oh, I've heard of you guys before." And then we ended up talking about.
You actually heard of us?
Wow, that's amazing.
I'm not entirely surprised because I do get that from time to time. Like I'll tell one of the facilities that I work at where I teach, they hired a new guitar teacher, and they were telling him about me, and some kid was talking about the Reign of Kindo somehow, some way, because they were
Yeah.
talking about. I don't know if you've ever heard of Thank You Scientist, but we toured with them
yeah.
we toured with them last year, and they were like, "Oh, we love Thank You Scientist," and then they were like, "Oh yeah." They just toured with Reign of Kindo last year. They're like, "Oh yeah, I love the Reign of Kindo," and they're like, "Oh yeah, the drummer works here." And then the teacher was just like, "What?" And now every time like
fan.
yeah, he like totally geeks out, and he say
Yeah.
like has a little twinkle in his eye when he sees me, and he always kind of wants to talk to me, and I'm like, "Yeah, man,
Why
we're just
wouldn't
cool.
he? Yes.
Yeah, we're just hanging, we're just buds, we're coworkers, you know what I mean?" So
Yeah. But
That's awesome.
He wasn't. He was cool though. He was like, "Oh hey, yeah. Like when are you guys gonna play next?"
he was kind of walked up to me, kind of like was like, "So you're in the Reign of Kindo?" And I was like,
like creepy, like
a little bit. I'm exaggerating slightly, just a little bit, but
So where do you live?
yeah. So
So like we should hang out, man.
yeah. Do you want to jam sometime?
You want to grab a drink? You
I
wanna
just wanted to hang out,
Let's
Steve.
hang out.
Yeah, like I was always afraid to like dive into like drum conversations with drummers, like known drummers, because I feel like that's all they talk about, and I feel like that's if I just veer away from talking about drumming stuff, it makes it more like intimate, like more like
For
personal,
sure.
you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's you can use it at like I see it going a couple different ways. You can use it as like a launching pad, just to kind of say like, "Oh yeah, you could always say this. I really enjoy your work. I'm a big fan." And you could say that, and then go from that
Just
point
veer
on.
off.
It's like, yeah, veer off and see whatever. Like we ended up
That's what I did
talking
with
about.
Marco.
Oh, you did? You met him?
Yeah, so it was a show in Philly, and it was when he first joined the Aristocrats or made the
Oh,
Aristocrats.
that band is disgustingly good.
Yeah. And one of my good friends, phenomenal bass player, his band had opened up for the Aristocrats at one of the venues.
Cool.
I forgot the name of the band, but he invited me to come out, and he said like he'll let me through the door, and I got there and I entered through the back door thinking it was the front door. And it was like a really small little like bar venue, and it was just very cool. It wasn't a lot of people. It was enough that it felt like it was full. And I got there early. I saw them set up. I saw Marco sitting down, and I'm like, that's Marco. That's like to myself, and I'm like, how do I talk to this guy? Like,
Yeah.
Do I go up to him? Do I say hi? Like, so So my friend brought me over to break the ice, and I was like, "Yeah, man, I just watch your stuff when I worked at Guitar Center, and I used to put your DVD on all the time back in like 2002." You know, and he
Is
was
that
like,
the
"Oh,
one where
man."
he's in like an astronaut suit with Paul Gilbert?
No, this was like his first DVD.
Oh, okay.
What was it? Independency. He had the long hair, and he played like the
Oh,
loops
yeah,
and stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah.
He had like DW that he was running on.
Yep.
So yeah, and then after I talked about that, I started talking more about like where he was actually from and like the country, and like just try to get more like in tune with his culture, and and just veered off from there. And it was really cool. I got downstairs backstage, got some photos and stuff, and then after the show we had some beers, and it was a really chill.
That's
chill
awesome.
He was very nice.
Yeah,
as quirky as he is, he's nice.
He's a really, really, really nice guy. I know that. I know.
And him and Brian Beller on bass, and who's the guitarist?
Guthrie Govan.
Guthrie Govan, yeah.
Yeah.
He was a little off for me, but
Yeah, I'm not surprised. He seems a little, I think to be that good at guitar, you have to be a little,
Yeah.
But both of them played with Steven Wilson, and I'm not sure if you're familiar with Steven Wilson's like what album, The Raven That Refused to Sing. Probably my all-time favorite album, if not number one, number two.
I've heard a couple of Steven Wilson stuff. I haven't really like dove into it after Porcupine Tree.
Go. I'm telling you, you're not going to disappoint. You're not going to be disappointed. It's not Porcupine Tree, but it's still really freaking good.
It's Steven Wilson.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
come
Steven
on.
Wilson.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Maynard,
Oh yeah,
Like,
anything Maynard
yeah,
does.
anything
it's
he
just
does, like A Perfect Circle. Oh my God.
one of my all-time favorite bands. Thank you very much.
Yes, like if like people know to it and it's like, oh, but A Perfect Circle, I was like, oh yes, you're my peeps. You know
Yep.
what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about concerts. So if you guys are just tuning in, I'm seeing you guys are coming in, chatting it up in the chat. Make sure to think about a question you want to ask. We're here with CandyBoyDrums. If you guys are not familiar with him, please give him a follow. He's an amazing professional recording artist. He's the drummer of Reign of Kindo. So if you're not familiar with that, check them out. They're on Spotify. They got a few albums out. They have an album coming out and a few singles this year. So he's about to play another song for us. So you guys stick around and hear how awesome the songs are. They're all different. They all have their kind of like flair. So right now we're talking to Kindo, and he's telling us about his favorite music, how he started at 9 years old, and he went to school for it. He's actually been gigging with the band Reign of Kindo for about 3 years now, and so he started streaming in July on Twitch. And yeah, it's been really an awesome journey. I'm so happy to have him here on the podcast. We're getting to know him. We're vibing. We're talking about everyone that's influenced him. Right now, he's telling us all the gigs that he's are his favorite gigs that he's been to in the. Well, now we're not really going to gigs, so.
What we used to do back in the good old days.
Yeah, we're gonna be telling that to like our kids. We're gonna be like, yeah, back in 2020, that's when everything.
Us boomers back in the day used
Yeah,
to.
you boomers. You didn't have to live through a pandemic.
I know, right? Imagine the stories that we're gonna be
Yeah,
talking
right.
about.
What an interesting time to be alive.
Really,
Yeah.
we're living history. That's like crazy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was just waiting for an alien invasion.
Godzilla's coming out from the Hudson,
That'd be awesome. I think I'm like, if 2020 gave me anything, I'd be most hopeful for Godzilla. Like, let's
Right?
be real.
I mean, everything. One thing, we had those killer bees, those killer hornets. And we've had, like,
That was debunked. I'm sorry.
That was
I'm
debunked?
I'm totally debunked. Those I've read up about that, and I watch this guy called Coyote Peterson on YouTube, and he's a big he gets stung
Oh yeah, I
by
watched
things.
that.
yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
he debunks. Well, he debunked that particular thing, but he literally goes and gets stung by like the most venomous bees, and like has a sting
What?
index, and like it's great.
He's
it's
immune
great.
to everything by now.
Yeah. Well, he's not immune to it. He goes through all the pain. He never wants to do it again.
Yeah.
He does it for science.
For science, though.
For science, folks.
Anything categorized as deadly, he knows not to do. So
Yeah, exactly. Now he knows.
Are they really deadly? Let's find out.
Let's find out. Yeah, exactly.
So wait, he debunked the whole killer hornets.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that
He
one.
got himself stung by one.
He
But
did.
he
Well,
said like, yeah, it's not gonna kill you, but
it
if you
won't
got
kill
stung
you.
by a bunch, sure.
Oh, sure, but they're not as venomous as like some of the other ones that are out there.
Yeah.
They're big. They are giant hornets, but they won't kill you. You know.
Yeah,
So
they just kill honeybees.
honeybees. They are really bad to the honeybee population, which we need to save. So
Oh, save the bees, save the honeybees.
save the bees, save the animals, save everything.
So chat, I see your chats here. I see your girl Val is in the chat, and Pancakes, and DJ Phoenix. He was actually the official DJ at TwitchCon last year. So
Sick.
Shout out to Phoenix. He's awesome, an amazing shredder. Steven Universe, another amazing guitarist here, starting out on Twitch. Yeah, Darth Ribs came in here. Darkman24, you know Darkman, Chris.
I know Darkman.
Yes. He was
We're
on the
best
podcast.
friends.
Yeah, isn't he like the guy? He's an amazing
cool.
guy. Yeah, he's super cool. I think
I popped into his streams fairly recently. He was playing some Lamb of God. It was sick.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, he's a solid drummer too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were in your stream, and I was like, yeah, you need to know this guy, Chris. He's a drummer too. He's like, oh, I wouldn't know if it because Darkman24. You know, I was like, yeah, like everyone here is like super supportive. They're drummers. They know Chris. Like Chris is one of those guys, you know. So it's awesome to see everybody connecting and seeing them in chat and coming in, and you know, like everybody's super nice to each other.
That's awesome.
So what's the next song that you're gonna play? I wonder if chat has a favorite that they would like to hear him play.
Sure. If they don't, I have one in mind.
Is it a Britney Spears song?
It is a Britney Spears song. We'll get DMCA'd real quick.
Yeah, right. Speaking of DMCA, while we get information from chat, your music, is it owned by the band themselves, or
Yes.
are they getting distributed?
Nope. It's
Okay.
we own them. We are the sole proprietors of the music. So I will not get DMCA'd for our own music, fortunately.
Nice.
Although it will mute it if you go back to the VODs. So, but whatever about that. Just watch the stream, folks.
You're live. Live is better, you know.
Live is always better. It's
where
in the
it's at.
moment. It's
So-
embracive.
In the
So if
moment.
I want to do a cover of one of your songs, I won't get in trouble for it, is what you're
No.
saying. Okay.
Go for it. Do it.
Sweet.
Go for it, man. You got to show me.
That was beautiful.
Wow!
Sorry. It's like my streams. It's like my streams with all my non-DMCA or whatever copyright-free music to play in between my songs. Anyway,
go on.
Oh, thank you, Pink.
Yeah,
Thanks
have
for
it
100
cute.
biddies. Thank you so much.
Nice. Yeah, so that song was called "Till We Make Our Ascent." It's one of my favorites, if not my favorite song. It's just a banger. It's always fun. We actually put a drum solo in the middle of it during our live versions. So
Ooh,
I like how smooth it is. It's a very smooth song.
it's always just going. You know, it's in 3 for the most part. It's just driving the whole time. So
whole album is fire. Yes.
that album is, everybody loves that album.
Really good.
It's hard to
Beautiful.
argue.
So one of my favorites is Great Blue Sea. I really like that one too. I know it's more like, I don't know, like I think every song has its like, there's some that are really like vibey and like fusiony. Some of them have more like a sweetness to it. And
Sure.
so this one, how would you describe it? Like why
This
is
one's
it
just
your
like-
favorite? Why is one of your favorites?
It's dynamic. It's complex. It's got an odd time signature, and it rocks. You know, it is
So
pushing. It's
good.
driving, and I love that kind of stuff where it's just like the song is just going. You know, it's just like out of all the songs that they have, this is the only one that I can do this to, and just like, you know. You get to that point, and I like to metal it up a little bit, where I do the double bass and stuff like that, which is not in the actual, you know, recorded version, but that's Kendall flair. You know, sprinkle that on there.
A little bit of spice.
Spice, as Mike Johnston says. What is it? The paprika and all that, you know, all the chili powder and all whatever else he says. He says a little biscuits, you know. Oh, biscuits. Yeah.
Says that?
He always says that. He's a great clinician.
Biscuits in
You
there.
guys haven't checked him out, but yeah, he's always like, sweet baby gravy and biscuits. I'm like, okay.
He's always
whatever.
talking about food.
Always talking about food.
Nice.
piano.
I was going to talk about your setup.
Sure.
What camera are you using?
So I'm using the Canon M50, and
Ooh.
I have a Tamron lens, a 16 millimeter to 40 millimeter lens on it. So, and that's not. You need to get an adapter for that. I have a Valtrax adapter, because they only take the Canon M50s only take the EF lenses, and the EF lenses, it has a crop sensor. This is all the research I've done, man. Like we're gonna nerd out here. This is all the
Nerd
shit
out.
I talked to my videographer about all this stuff, and he was telling me like, oh, you're gonna need this and you're gonna need that. So yeah, I'm using that Canon M50 with a Valtrax adapter with a nicer lens. Kind of gives a nice little. The one that it came with was nice. It's just a little bit closer. This one's a little bit more zoomed out, so you get to see a little bit more. And
Yeah, it's like a wide angle.
yeah, exactly. So, and I just have a couple HDMI cables coming out of that into a cam link, just the usual HDMI into a cam link to the USB into my Mac. So
Beautiful setup. I like it. I like that the atmosphere of the whole like lights in the back, and then you have the. So people ask you a lot about the guitars, right? Well, what kind of
Yeah, they
guitars
do.
are those?
Okay, so we have I think a Takamine acoustic guitar as the farthest away. A American Standard Fender Telecaster, and then a Tokai Stratocaster. It even copies like the Fender F. It's from the I think the 80s, I think the early 80s. These are all my dad's. It was stolen, and he somehow got it back. Back in the 80s, it was stolen, and he got it back somehow, some way. So
It'd be like that, they're I'm gonna get them back, and so you're wow.
it was sheer luck. I have no idea. I think the police found it or something. I have no idea.
Wow.
You guys do like family jams?
We used to back in the day. Yeah, that's how I started. Right, I played with him. Like I said, we wrote songs together. That's where it all started for me, was playing with my dad. And, I owe the majority of my musical appreciation and love for music to him, because he's always showing me, well, now I'm showing him because now he, I'm the one. Like, here, man, check this out. You got to listen to this. Oh, well, I'm keeping the torch going. But
Yeah.
But he's the one who showed me all the stuff, and plus he worked for MTV at the time, and worked for VH1 and all these.
Oh, that's so cool. So he did like shows and stuff, like behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, he'd always work with the bands, and he did like Nirvana's Unplugged, and he worked with So
awesome.
He did all those things.
That's big.
I actually recently found one of the Unplugged. It's a long sleeve shirt. I wear it on stream sometimes. I actually just wear it in general because it's awesome. But it's a little big, but it literally says MTV Unplugged on it. It's from one of the, like, I don't know if it's the Lauryn Hill one, or the LL Cool J, or Alice in Chains. He did all of them.
Alice in Chains was like, I think it's my favorite Unplugged, and Nirvana.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And Nirvana's mine, but yeah.
Yeah, Nirvana, Alice in Chains, and I did like the Pearl Jam because I was a huge grunge kid too.
Right.
So like I definitely loved my grunge guys. But that's
Stick.
huge. That's amazing.
Yeah, get your dad on the jam with you one day on stream. Just show him.
He'd probably be embarrassed, but
No.
maybe.
So we got lucky having dads that are supportive like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he let you have the drum kit, and then he was like, here's my guitars. So what shows did you go with your dad to? Did you go to a lot of concerts with him?
Oh my god. Yeah, like my first concert was Eric Clapton. So like, yeah, and my dad took me to numerous. I saw King Crimson as a kid. I saw, I think, was it Paul Simon? I might have seen Paul Simon. I don't quite remember. I saw the Rolling Stones. I saw Jeff Beck with him. I saw every Steven Wilson show. I always go with him. Porcupine Tree, we went together at the Radio City. So many. Every Rush concert, I went with him because he's a bigger Rush fan than I am.
Yeah.
And just so many. Like
How about David Gilmour or like Roger Waters?
I did not. He's a huge David Gilmour fan. He loves David Gilmour. I never got to see them. Don't hate me, but I'm not the biggest Pink Floyd fan. I'm just not.
Oh, my dad was. So like I took him to go see The Wall when they did it in Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
I took my dad. I was like, Dad, you're the reason why I'm cool. Like, and yeah, he had all the, he grew up with Kiss, like in the Bronx, like he was one of those dudes. So
that's sick.
Yeah, so like he was totally cool with me playing the drums, and he had me play the drums in the living room. I had them in the living room. He was totally cool with guys coming over and playing, and like I fell out of playing the drums, and then I'm falling back in love with them. He still he still has a lot of my instruments there. He still has my kit and everything. So like, yeah, I think dads are so great. Like, we're so lucky that we have dads that were cool and made us cool, because I think we owe it to them that they actually had really good taste in music.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Like I said, I owe everything, all my musical appreciation and love for music because of him, and he would come home. It's like, I remember he would call me up and be like, I'm going to Tower Records. What do you want? And I would like, give me the new Green Day CD, or give me the new Red Hot Chili Peppers CD, and I would just listen to him, and I would just absorb whatever that was. So he took me to see Korn for the first time.
My dad went to a Deftones concert with me because I was really young.
Oh man, I've never. That's one band I've never seen live, and that's on my list. It's on my list.
You got to. Yeah, I saw them in the 90s. I was like a tween. So like my dad said, you can't go alone. Yes. And my dad was like, he was like moshing, and I had my little high school band already. So like, he's like, we gotta go, and I was like, no, I'm going with you. And then so like, and he was like behind me moshing, and my guitarist like, dude, like, your dad, he's moshing back there. Somebody offered him a joint even. Like, it was nuts.
That's sick. That's awesome.
But yeah, dads are awesome. I love my dad. So yeah, but your dad's a legend. I mean, to work in MTV and wow, and do the whole thing with Unplugged. That's wow.
I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg for his career. Oh yeah, he reminisces all the time. He's at that age where he likes to talk about his stories, and
I would love to have him on here if he ever is down for those kind of things, because I love talking to like older men that like been through things, and then they tell me, and they could just
he's seen some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dads are the best. They're the best.
Back in my day.
Basically.
Wow, that's awesome. So you got to see a lot of cool shows with him.
Oh yeah. Still this day. I think we went and saw Tesseract. That was the last show that him and I went to. So,
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, I know Jay. Yeah, I don't know if you've had him on here yet, but he streams on like in the mornings on Twitch.
No, we're a little intimidated as far as big leagues.
Oh, gotcha.
We just had Cameron Spence Drums. He's pretty big. He's doing something with what's the band?
Novena.
Yeah, he's with Novena, but he's with he's doing that collab.
He's doing this Tesseract thing, like the live show.
Oh,
Yeah,
Portals.
Yeah, he's doing Portals.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he's doing the cameras and stuff and the whole setup.
That's sick.
Yeah, he was just on the podcast on Thursday. This Thursday that just passed.
That's amazing. You should reach out to Josh Manuel from Issues too. I know he's a nice kid. I've met him a few times and he would definitely do it. He streams also on Twitch. He streams I think the same times that I do.
Oh, sweet.
Hey, put in a good word. Say yeah, this was like the coolest like podcast ever.
Definitely. Reach out. He's so nice. He's just a chill dude. He streams games too at late night too.
Yeah, I've had some pretty awesome like down to earth. Drummers are just awesome.
We're just chill.
Yeah.
Most of us are chill.
Yeah.
At least once I've met.
What's his name again?
Josh Manuel.
Like manual, like a book manual?
Yeah. If you're looking for his Twitch, it's Bucktopia. BUCKTOPIA. Speaking of streaming, I will be transitioning to, or adding. I don't want to say transitioning. I'm transitioning. No.
Transitioning.
I'm setting up my gaming setup. I just bought a beautiful new computer. Should be here in a few weeks. I just got
Oh shit!
I like your setup. I'm going to be streaming games and a lot of just chattings because I really do enjoy what we're doing. I love dialect and conversation. It's just I'm a conversationalist, as I like to say sometimes.
You're a natural. What can you say?
Well,
like, it's in your blood.
It brings you to a level where it's like you're being an actual person versus an entertainer, and then they get to actually get to know you and bring yourself in a personal level with everyone else.
Right, and even more importantly, you get to know other people too. Like it's a conversation, but it's a connection too. Like that's the one thing
totally.
that when the people who say, harping back to those who say, oh, I don't want to stream, there's no connection. I don't buy into that personally. Like even though it's through text and chat, like shit, I've met my last two girlfriends on Bumble and Twitch. What's the other one that everybody uses? Tinder. You know what I mean? It's like you start with text. It's like you still develop a connection through that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just born for the internet age. I think most of us are at this point.
We grew up. Yeah, I mean,
like we're adapting. Yeah. And like it's not like the way it used to be back in the day where we have to go to a bar or a bookstore or something. Like
I never did that to begin with. I don't really like bars, or not to say bars aren't cool and stuff like that, but I just never, that wasn't my thing, So
yeah.
The internet age, thank you.
Yeah, I think because we've seen both. We grew up in the time when it was like we saw the transition when we went through flip phones and we went through our first building our first computer, and then now it's like if anybody would have told you that this would have been what we were doing, like would you be like, what, really? Well, kind of, yeah. It is the future. This is what people are doing. So.
I'm not surprised we're here, to be honest.
I met Luna like that in another platform, and then we just kind of transitioned to here, and then we're doing this, So
sure, that's sweet.
So it happens, it happens, and it's not a bad thing.
Adapt.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Evolution.
Not at all.
It's evolution, baby.
It's a good song.
Yeah. So, anybody in chat want to ask any questions? This is the Q&A part of the stream. If you guys have any questions for a guest.
What are your favorite video games?
Ooh,
that's a good one.
League of Legends is my go-to number one game. I've played it consistently since 2012, 13, somewhere around there, and I've always been kind of playing it more obsessively and less obsessively as it goes. I'm in a very less obsessive now way. I play it late at night when I don't really care, and I play ARAMs because I don't want to deal with the stress of ranked. Currently, I'm also playing World of Warcraft, the new expansion. I really love it. I'm a huge Final Fantasy nerd. I've played almost all of them. I've beaten the majority of them. I'm not a completionist, apparently, when it comes to video games. I buy a game, I play it for like 10 hours, maybe 20 hours, and then I get bored and I put it away. and then I never go back because I'm just like, nah, I lose interest in video games now. So I'm much less of a console story type person gamer now. I'm much more computer kind of, always evolving sort of games, that are, or just like PvP kinds of games. I don't play any kind of FPS or anything like that. I don't like guns. It's not my style. I don't like military. I don't want to say that. I don't like war, and I don't really like violence. I like fantasy violence. I've always kind of been that type
The
of person.
magical realm.
I got a game for you.
Yeah, right. I love my Switch. I don't play it as much as I used to, but I'm a beast at Mario Kart. I beat everybody in in the Kindo band. We all have Switches. We play while we're in the van.
That's one of my
or
favorites.
while we're on tour. Yeah. What other games do I play on that? I was playing Octopath Traveler for a little while. There's just so many great games.
What's your favorite game system? And that's a question.
I mean, if I was to pick, if I was to have a console, I would say the PS5. Or I don't have a PS5, but I'll just take the latest PlayStation, whatever that is, because I've always been a PlayStation guy. I've never owned an Xbox in my entire life. And I do love my Switch. I think it's... I haven't played the PS5 or the Xbox, whatever it's called now. But the Switch, I think, is just so revolutionary on being able to have it on your console or on your TV, and then fuck it, I need to leave. Let me take this and go and get on the train or whatever, and just start playing your game. You could be totally immersed. It's phenomenal. But I mean, give me a computer over any of that, to be honest with you. That's just I once I got into StarCraft, that was kind of it for me. That was
one of my first games.
Oh yeah, StarCraft was that just opened me up to everything else. I could play with my friends online. What?
Yeah.
I create my own maps.
Yeah. Oh man.
With my friends.
StarCraft was so good. Oh.
Yeah, I miss old StarCraft. That was a good development time.
Very.
we are kind of nerds with Guild Wars. We like Guild Wars too.
Nice.
Yeah, we play some Guild Wars.
I've never tried it. I've heard good things. I've never tried it.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming out with some new stuff, new expansions. There was talk that they're coming out with this another major expansion to be added. But it's got some good story. If you like to go through the stories, and their PvPs aren't so bad either.
That's cool. Yeah.
There's another question that says from Cranky Pancakes, dream band to play with and dream venue to play at.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a dream band. I mean, probably
super group.
Probably Porcupine Tree. That'd just be the ultimate. I mean, just to be in a band like that. Or play with Pliny. I'd probably be so intimidated to play with Pliny, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I can play most of Gavin Harrison's parts at this point, but as drumming keeps evolving, I just I've got to level up. Dream venue, I don't know. Royal Albert Hall would be fucking dope. Wembley would be sick, or any of the big ones. Brooklyn Steel would be amazing,
You can play Brooklyn Steel. I mean, that would be.
That's not too far.
That's reachable.
I mean, it's far. It's definitely reachable. Definitely reachable.
Luna Park.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anyone else. Any other questions?
Was good. Yeah, it's, Cyberpunk 2077 is a big thing now. People are saying that they might stream it, that it's kind of risky.
Oh, I say it's really risky.
Streaming it right now is risky.
Well, the game in general.
Game, yeah.
Because it's nudity and stuff like that.
Yeah, all that
stuff. Yeah. Maybe I won't do it then. I was thinking about it, but maybe I won't.
But I've read some articles, and they said that Twitch would allow it as long as you can, if you don't put the focus on the nudity. Apparently you can turn off the nudity.
No, you can't. It'll blur it out.
No, okay, then you're fine. Just turn the nudity off.
That's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, but how can you get away with playing Resident Evil games? Those games are so disgusting, and I know it's fantasy, but still, there's some weird stuff that goes on in all those horror games that people.
The gore games.
Yeah, I don't get it. What's the difference? It's what's wrong with nudity, but we can show somebody getting ripped in half.
Right.
I don't understand.
As long as you put mature content on your streams, you should be fine.
Exactly.
Double standard. Yeah.
But you said you like fantasy battles and stuff. I was gonna suggest checking out if you wanna try like a test into the like battle royal type of stuff, there's this game called Spellbreak that I'm playing a lot on, and it's a elemental base as like a substitution to like guns and stuff. It's gauntlets that you shoot like fireballs, you shoot
cool.
wind, toxic, and stuff like that. It's all elements, and you can
Gotcha.
combine the elements. And there's runes you pick up for like mobility, and there's equipment that you pick up to enhance your character's like stats. And it's levels that, like, as you progress in the zones, you level up your character. And yeah, so it's still like it's in pre-launch now, and they're about to launch their season 1 in a week or so. So
Sick. That
it's a
sounds
free
cool.
game too in Epic. So if you want to check it out.
Yeah, man.
Oh, you have a code too, right?
I do. Yes, I finally got a creator code.
Yes.
That's sick.
Luna Satori.
Hey,
There you
know,
go.
get some discount off of it. It's not bad.
Yeah.
So okay, so one of my last questions. Well, before you play the last song, and then we go into the 12 soundtrack of your life question. Is there anyone that you would love or think that would be cool to collab with on Twitch?
Oh, on Twitch. Man, I wish I had check out more different types of artists.
I mean, you don't have to name drop or like. It's just usually one of the questions that I ask because people tend to like link up or like,
I would love to do anything. Like I want to say that there's no limits at this point. Like, just if I actually reached out to some of my friends on Instagram. Like, I have a cello and violin player, and she's really phenomenal. And I'm like, send me something, and send me a video of you just playing and record it, and then send it to me, and I'll play it. And she's like, oh, I don't know what to play. I'm like, just play anything. It does, like, it could be literally like a 2-bar like repeat, like something that repeats, like. And they get a little intimidated. So I even hit up another drummer friend of mine on Instagram who I was like, just play something, send it, like record it, send it to me, and I'll do something tribal over it or something, like something really cool, or I don't even know. But so for me, it's like I would anything. I want people to send me stuff, and I will be like, let's do it. You know what I mean? I just want to create. I think that's really what it is.
So you're pretty open with genres and styles because I see your stuff is very fusiony, very diverse in taste and genres. So that's cool. I like that.
You're gonna get emails of death metal music now.
Oh boy. I will say I'm not the best death metal player. I'm a hack when I come to my blast beats. I just do it out of because I think they're so funny. But not to say I don't work on them, because I do, because I never want to have to say no to a gig. That's my thought.
Right.
It's like I never want to have to turn down a paycheck. I'm
That's
like,
true.
like shit.
Especially
can I play
nowadays.
this?
Yeah.
And you also give classes online too, right? Because you're a drummer.
I do. I do online lessons currently.
Lessons.
Yeah. I really thoroughly enjoy teaching. It's one of my great passions. I love giving knowledge back to the community. I love to talk about stuff and just help people, I teach people all over the country and all over the world, I should say. I've got, I teach people in Brazil. I've taught people in Texas. I've taught people in, I forget where other country. There's another country in there somewhere. But yeah, I've taught all over. You know what I mean? So. And
they can sign up on your website?
Yep, they can absolutely sign up on my website, just at the contact form, or they can literally DM me on Instagram. I'm always on there, so you can either one. I'm available. Lessons.
Yeah, so
all the lessons.
Make sure to hit him up if you're, wanting to play drums. He's an amazing
You want to learn how to
drummer.
play like Gavin Harrison?
Oh my God, yes.
You talk to this guy.
Yeah.
So, one of the last questions is the soundtrack of your life question. I was trying to tell you, giving you like a heads up, because it's sometimes it's easy for people, sometimes it's very hard. But I don't know, it depends. Everyone's different. But I ask everyone this question, and it's the 12 songs to the soundtrack of your life. So like 2 songs from your childhood that remind you of, like beach drives with your family or whatever, or something that reminds you of a high school moment, or your favorite bands, your favorite songs that kind of are like those moments, you know? So 12 songs. It's either really easy or it's really hard. I don't know. It's up to you.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with I forget what the song. It's not Three Little Birds, but it's a Bob Marley song, and I can't remember what it is. I hear it in my head. It's Everything's Gonna Be All Right. I don't know what the title is. That might be the title, but if that's the title, that's the song. When I was a baby,
Yeah, it's Three Little Birds.
Yeah. Oh, that was Three Little Birds?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, there you go.
You got it right.
I did get it right. There you go. When I was a baby, I wasn't able to fall asleep unless I was rocked in my parents' arms while listening to Bob Marley.
Oh, well, he's amazing. That's a nice one. So
I don't know why that is, but that was, so I got to put that as, you know, the number one if we're going to go in chronological order.
Little did you know you actually passed out with secondhand weed.
Exactly. I mean, you're probably right.
The frequencies were infused.
The next song I would have to say is it called Water by Live? Oh, what's that song by Live? I love that band. Let me see what it's called real quick. I have it here. All Over You is what it's called. All Over You by Live. I'm sure if you heard it, you'd know it. It was all over the radio in the 90s.
Yeah.
And,
all over you, all over you. Yeah.
Exactly. There was that song like categorized my like early to like mid 90s. I don't know why, but it reminds me of.
I remember that song. Like I think I was in junior high school or something, and it just reminded me of getting ready and putting like K-Rock or Z100, and it would always be playing.
K-Rock. Oh my god.
You remember? Yeah.
Do you remember? Do you remember Q104.3?
Yes, all these stations, they're like gone now.
That was gone. That one still exists, but it's like a soft rock station.
Yeah, and it switched up. It changed. Even Z100, it was different before.
Right. Z100. So, I'd say that. Then I gotta put Got the Life. I have to, because that's
Got the Life.
I have to put that in there. And then I'd have to put Left Behind by Slipknot, because that is my just angsty teenager hate the world.
We all have one of those angsty songs.
Just hate the world. Then where did I move to? Oh, okay. So then I sort of moved away from that a little bit, and I have to put. There's a great J-pop band that from the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s, called Yellow Magic Orchestra. And they tried to make it big here in the States, and my dad turned me on to them. And they're kind of cheesy. If you listen to them, you probably wouldn't like them. But I listened to my dad gave me this like mixtape of like all the like albums and songs like kind of mixed together, and I just had it on repeat. I played it so much I wore out the tape. So, what's the song? Let me look it up real quick. So it's definitely Yellow Magic Orchestra, and again, you would never know who they were, but if you do, you're a G. But they were like, here it is. It is called. Oh, it's in Japanese. Couldn't tell you what it's called, but the first song off of the Technodelic, and they were like the pioneers of techno. They're like right there with like Kraftwerk and those types of things. So I also am used to be very into techno. So these guys were very much a part of that. Yeah, almost. But these are way more. They had a real drummer too, so it was like like that.
Oh, so it's more intricate.
Oh yeah, very intricate. Think like Charlie Watts, but like cool. And no, Charlie Watts is so fucking cool. What am I saying? So anyway, so
what
that
was the
for
name
that
of
part.
What was the name?
So I can't give you the name because it's in Japanese, but it's the first song off of Technodelic. Yeah, it's a J-pop. Yeah, off the first song after Technodelic. It's in Japanese. I wish I could read it. I just don't. So, and then I'm gonna say, Pretty Handsome Awkward by The Used.
Oh, okay.
This is me coming back out and just like saying, like, I don't know, just I don't know what I want to do with my life. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And then I got into Porcupine Tree. So then I'm going to put The Sound of Music.
That's a good album.
In Absentia is their best, in my opinion. Second is Fear of a Blank Planet. Fight me.
Deadwing.
No.
He's like,
Good
no.
songs. There's some great songs.
I always have a hard time saying that name too. The
Deadwing?
No.
In Absentia?
Yes, it's always hard to say, and I always say it right. And it's just.
Anesthetize.
There's that song, Anesthetize.
Yeah.
That's one of my all-time favorite
Yes,
songs.
that one.
Anesthetize. Yeah, that's hard to say.
Anesthetize.
Anesthetize. Okay, so then we did Porcupine. How many songs are we at?
They were at 7.
I think 7. Yes.
7. Okay, we're doing good, guys. We're doing good. Okay, so I come back from college. Then I have to put a Skrillex song.
Ooh.
Yep, got to do it.
Bangarang?
Gotta.
Bangarang's a good one. I'm not gonna put that one. I'm gonna put All Is Fair in Love and Bro Step. Which is the first song off of it.
In Love and Bro Step.
In Bro Step. Yep. That whole album is called Recess. It's so good. It's from 2014.
It's on the Recess album? Oh, yeah.
Yep, it's the first song. I got into an car accident, like the worst car accident of my life in that.
Oh, no.
I mean, I was fine, but I was listening. I was like, going, yeah, hard. Oh, just at the drop, boom.
Oh, no. As soon as it hits.
Basically. So
the music's still playing while the car is tumbling. It's like, it's real.
It's fine. Yeah, this is what it feels like. This is what...
Oh man, there's those moments that like collect the song into a capsule, and then
definitely.
they just become that moment.
Definitely. Okay, so now I'm starting to get into the proggy stuff again. So I'm gonna say, even though the song's older, let me see what it's called. I just want to make sure I give it to you right. It's not his song, but I'll say Stratus. It's not his song, but Jeff Beck's version of Stratus. It's an awesome song. So good. And that's when I started getting into like fusion stuff. That's kind of like progressive fusion stuff. Really started diving headfirst into like Mahavishnu Orchestra. What's the other one? I can't think of the other band. What's Jaco Pastorius from, the band? Hold on, I got it. Weather Report. Oh, there we go. So that kind of stuff. I got really into that. Okay, so then we're past that. Now we got to get heavy, like heavy. Let's bring it back to... So how many do we have left?
I think
2 more.
Let me see. 9, 10. I think that Jeff Beck was
2 more.
10.
Okay, so then we're going to go to Prayer Position by Periphery.
Okay, Position.
And then we're going to go The Woven Web by Animals as Leaders.
Oh.
Ooh.
Nice list. I like this list. Yeah, this is the soundtrack of your life. I like it. I'm into it. I will listen to it from front to back and enjoy it because it's all awesome.
If anybody wants to see my drum cover of The Woven Web, you can go to my YouTube. You can search it on YouTube.
Did we put his YouTube link on the...
I only got his web and the...
It's on my
band.
website, too. It's on my
Okay,
website.
okay. So you can link
website.
up to the website.
You can link it. You can watch it there. Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. So do you put a lot of content on YouTube then?
I'm trying to. I'm slowly but surely trying to do more content. I'm not home as much anymore because of my job. You know, I have to teach in person now, so I'm away from this particular setup more than I'd like to be. But it's always on my mind to do more covers and more whatever kind of stuff. I'm trying to get into more like vlogging too, but there's a vlog on there where I talk about audition process and how to maybe nail your auditions and stuff like that. So.
Oh yeah, I did notice that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's really. I think a lot of how-tos and teaching are really. I think people search more of that kind of stuff. Like, what can you learn I think, right? Like how-tos. So those
Absolutely.
are good. How to land gigs and stuff like that.
How to land your auditions, you know?
Yeah, your auditions. Yeah, those are great.
Yep.
Yeah, so drop him a follow on YouTube, guys, because he has a lot of informative
subscribe,
videos. Yeah,
please.
subscribe. Smash that
Show
subscribe
'em all
and
the
like
love.
button and the notification bell. And also give him a give him a follow here on Twitch. He's been amazing and awesome guest here, and I can't wait to see more streams from you. I was gonna ask you too, because you do gaming, so do you have like a game night for your community? I know you just started your Discord, which is really big because Discord is important. You'll start noticing on Twitch.
Right. I have not. I haven't started yet. Once I get my computer, so it'll probably happen around the holiday season. I'll start releasing a schedule on what I'm gonna do, because I don't have that for you yet, unfortunately. But it's coming. But I do stream on here on Fridays. I do the drum streams 6 to 9, and I also do another streams on Sundays 1 to 4. So those are the 2 days that I'm currently streaming consistently, and yeah,
So Fridays and Sundays.
Fridays and Sundays. Yep. And if we go back into quarantine, it's going to be more. I promise. So
Nice.
that's if we do. Unlikely, but who knows? Yeah. And then the gaming thing, that'll, I'll figure that out once I build it and set it up and get everybody excited about it, because I'm excited about it. I just love hanging out and chatting with people. I can do it all night, so
A little bit of a downtime break.
yeah, honestly, like after a drum stream, I could be like, okay guys, we're going to transition to gaming and just chatting.
Just
like
walk right over.
That sounds
exactly.
like you. That sounds like you, Luna. That's what he
basically
does.
it.
Yeah,
That's sick. That's sick.
That's awesome.
I do it like I have my game days are like Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then like I have it where people can like redeem a song, and I could just play like after a match. I go and play.
Oh, sick.
So it's still like music still incorporated, but like
That's cool, though.
And I think it's because I have the electronic kit now. I can do that. I could be up late and do it without any issues. So
Exactly. Yep.
But there's a question before we cut out. Make Money Eric was asking, would you like to play for the Queen of England if you could?
Of course. I mean, I doubt she'd enjoy it because I don't know. She seems like a very. Funny you brought that up. I was just talking about her with my girlfriend. What was it, yesterday or the day before, where she met all like the 4 great British like guitar gods. So walks up to Brian May from Queen, then she walks up to Jimmy Page from Zeppelin, then Eric Clapton, and then Jeff Beck. So they're all in order, and they all have their little like nice suits. They're very proper. And she's like, "Hi, are you in a band?" In her little British accent. "Are you in a band?" "Yes, ma'am, I'm in a band." "Yes." "Oh, what's your band?" Led Zeppelin." "Yes." "Oh, okay, thank you." Mm-hmm. And then it says, "Oh, what band were you in?" "I'm just Eric Clapton. I was in the band called the Yardbirds." Funny enough, Jeff Beck, Jimmy Page, and Eric Clapton were all in the band together. But she seemed like she had no fucking idea like, who these guys were. But they're like rock legends.
Gods.
Gods. So I don't know if she would enjoy it. She'd probably be like, "No."
Doesn't tickle my fancy.
But she's missing out. She's missing out.
That'd be cool though. Maybe she would. Maybe she does like the Reign of Kindo secretly. Maybe she's a big fan. Who knows? That'd be awesome.
Secretly, deep down.
Deep down.
That's the beauty.
She's dancing her feet off.
That's the beauty of Twitch. You discover a lot of music that you didn't know that you were into and you like.
That's the great thing about the streaming is what's that?
Is it cold in there?
My hands are just cold. Not that it's cold, but my hands are, I'm gonna play again, so I know. When I was playing that last song, I was like, "Oh, yikes!" I hadn't been playing. So anyway, what was I saying? I can't remember. I lost my train of thought. It doesn't matter, but
yeah. So the last song, I think, I'm thinking like I like the one we opened up the stream with. I really like that one. Or I don't know if we should do that one or We're Better Off Together. I think that one we should we close it up with that one because it's like one of the new.
Yeah, let's close it out with that.
Okay. All right.
Now, okay, I'm gonna try this. Here, let me. I don't know if this is gonna play. Recently played. Let's see. Nope, not that one. Nope. I have a version without drums that I can play.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
That's great.
But I want you guys to tell me how it sounds before I play.
All right, we'll do a test.
If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're gonna hear like a big kick in the beginning. There's a click and everything like that. But here we go. Tell me. Actually, you could. Yeah. We'll just do this. Here we go.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Sometimes at night I stay up late and wonder why it's so easy to feel lost and alone in this town. You're not alone when hope is lost. We all feel like our worlds could get in. Should we be brave? Should we find faith in the power that beckons us? Rising at dawn, face the new day. We've got nothing to thank you for another moment. Painful or pleasure, we need those components to realize that nothing ever lasts forever, and that our hearts are better off together. We've all tasted the pains of loss. Carry on with the burden of days upon our cross. When you have fallen, send out a call. Help will be on the way. We all need a little more grace to get through each new day. Time to face the fact that nothing ever lasts forever, and that our hearts are better off together. We say thank you for another moment, painful or pleasure. We both components to realize that nothing ever lasts forever, and that our hearts are better off together. Time is a good way of wearing you down. When your window to under is growing dim with clouds, as promises break on their way to be. Don't give power to pain, son of the rain through space. What faith you found when the money's not around, and you've nowhere else to turn but down on your knees, begging please for a place to rest your burden of days. Soon you'll find we've nothing else but thank you for another moment. Like all the riches, you both components to realize that nothing ever lasts forever, and that our hearts can't go at it alone. Always say thank you for another moment, painful or pleasure. We need both components to realize that nothing ever lasts forever, and that our hearts are better off together. Say thank you, like all the riches. Nothing ever lasts forever. That's why our hearts are better off together.
That's beautiful.
Why? Thank you.
That was smooth. It's got a nice drive.
Thanks. Stole that from. That's my. What was it?
Bernard Purdy.
Yeah, basically. Or Jeff Beccaro from Toto. That's my Rosanna. my spin on it.
It's got a familiar tone, like the music. It's very how do I say it? Like I can hear like Imagine Dragons or something like being to pull something like that off, and
Yeah. No, I get that. I get that.
Or even like Glass Animals too.
That'd be cool.
I kind of hear a little bit of like Young the Giant. You guys would tour together really well, I think. Like, are you familiar with Young the Giant?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, definitely. There's so many. That's the cool thing about us is that a lot of bands we could tour with very easily with a lot of bands. We end up getting paired with a lot of metal bands, surprisingly. Like we opened up for Jason Richardson. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but it's very like heavy. Or like Scale the Summit, which is also very heavy. Thank You Scientist, which is a little bit closer, but they're still.
It's like you're warming up the crowd for them.
Yeah, basically, you know what I mean. Like when we opened for them, we consciously played like one of the slowest songs that we could possibly play, just like one that's like, just to like. And the band before us, the great bunch of guys in the Presence of Wolves, are just like. Think like Mars Volta, but just like insane, like even louder and crazier.
Oh man,
louder, just heavier than that, but just kind of that same vibe. And that we would just be like, okay, let's play like a real slow song, just to like bring everything back down, you know. So it was conscious.
Yeah, I like that song. It was a good song.
Thanks. Yeah, it's called Better Off Together.
That's new, you said, right?
Yep. Came out, I think, 2 months ago. And it's kind of funny when we wrote it, it kind of picked up meaning as we started going through all this stuff, you know, with all the pandemic, that we really are better off together as a species, you know, as a collective unit. You know, we don't work very well by ourselves. You know, what great person does everything? No, they have a great team around them or great people around them, you know?
Yeah.
So. Right, like community, like the way Twitch works.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a community, you know. We work better as a team, as a species. You didn't hunt by yourself, you hunt in packs, you know, when we were going back to primal.
Where can people find your band stuff?
Oh yeah, we're on Spotify, we're on YouTube. We're called The Reign of Kindo. Amazon Music, well, I don't know what it's called these days, but Apple Music, Apple Play, I don't know what it's called either, but Spotify, all of that stuff, it's all available on all streaming services. Just The Reign of Kindo. You can go to our website. We're doing a live stream on February 14th, 2021, February, at 3 p.m. And it's going to be pretty immersive and very unique experience. We're going to be playing in the comfort of your own homes. That's really something to really look forward to, because we've never done anything like this before. So
it's awesome. Yen and I will try to nab a ticket, maybe a VIP one, and we can just hang out.
Absolutely, yeah.
That'll be super fun, and it's on Valentine's Day. Hey, I got a date already. Hey,
you got a date.
Let's do it.
Load up our phones and just get to a restaurant and be like,
yep, there you go.
Or just make dinner. Let's just make dinner and then
make
have
dinner,
a nice...
put it on the big screen.
Yes,
you know?
Make it a like romantic thing, because
light the fire.
There you go.
Put on that 7.1 surround sound you got. I don't know if you have that, but
and the spaceship, like they call, you know.
Yeah.
Well, Kindo, I think you are a phenomenal drummer, an amazing person, streamer. You're a natural. Like, you are amazing with your community chat here. You guys follow this man. He's doing big things, okay? And he just started streaming in July, and look at the love he's getting already on Twitch.
The Gavin Harrison of Twitch.
Boom. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Hey, listen, I get called as the Mike Portnoy of Twitch, okay? You're gonna get Gavin Harrison.
All right, I'll take it. Well, I want to say a big thank you to both of you for allowing me to come on here and have some nice words and conversation with you and share some stories and have a real good time. And you know, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing this.
Yeah, you're a blast, man. I enjoy your personality, and you're just amazing in general. So I can't wait to see some more stuff come out from you.
Definitely.
Plus, you're a fellow New Yorker, so you know when things start opening up, you know, I'll go watch. We'll see you guys
come
live.
hang, absolutely. Can
Support.
absolutely.
Together, maybe do some drum jams. Yeah.
Definitely. That's something I've always missed. I used to do them in college, and I don't have enough drum friends. You know, like I do, but they're all in different places. But I always wanted to get together and just like trade and shed and just do all this fun stuff.
So
you know?
Mike of Twitch and Kevin from Twitch got to get together and do stuff then, because I mean he's moving to New York next spring, next summer.
Oh,
so
sick.
yeah. So hey, it could happen. You have more drum friends than you know now, especially on Twitch.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we can make it happen, and we're gonna be there for the Valentine's Day live concert, guys. Make sure to follow his socials. He does a lot of posting on YouTube, and also his schedule is Friday from 6 to 9 Eastern time, and Sundays 1 to 4 p.m. So
Perfect.
if you haven't, seen his live streams, you'll get the full experience there. So thank you so much, Kindo, for your time and space, and you're
Thank
amazing.
you.
And I know you're going to be blowing it up here on Twitch, So if anytime you want to come back and like just hang out and you have anything to promote or talk about, we're always going to be here, because I love having people come back next
Definitely.
year. Who knows? But we'll see. Hopefully this whole thing is going to end up ending before the summer, and we could actually see more live shows. But this was a great experience, because in 2020 this is the second best thing to real life shows, and you get to interact with the musician. So that's why I love having these podcasts for you guys, so you guys could get a chance to know them more in depth and see how awesome and amazing they are as people, and also as content creators and musicians. So and I love my drummers, so you'll see a lot of drummers here on the podcast. So thank you so much, Kindo, and I'll let you go, relax, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, go get like a decent meal, and a shower, because I know today,
all the above.
Shower.
yeah, because he just had a
Definitely.
stream, and from stream he came to the podcast. So amazing,
Well,
All right,
thank
guys.
you so much.
Thank you, everyone. And tomorrow I have a podcast with two amazing bodybuilders. Okay, Kelly and Joey. She's an actual, like, official cosplay model. She's been Vampirella last month on the cover for comic books. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be a regular podcast time, 7 p.m. Eastern
We'll go raid
time.
them.
Are they live right now?
Kelly's on. She's gaming, so you get to know her a little bit. You could chat with her before she comes on.
She does gaming, and she does workout streams, like with actual, like, she's insane. She has insane muscles, and her husband Joey, amazing couple. So we'll raid her right now, and then tomorrow she'll be on at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you so much, guys. Show love to the next for the raid, and I hope to see you on the next podcast. And follow Kindo. You have all his socials there, and the next time he'll be streaming is on Friday at 6 p.m. and he's gonna have more gaming stuff too, so you'll have
It's
more
coming.
more content for him to show us and have fun. All right, guys, thank you so much, and I'll see you on the next stream. All right, guys, bye, good night.
Very good. Very good. Beautiful.
And I think we're out.